What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unscripted Access, episode number 104. On this week's show, we have John Macaluso,
What's up, guys?
Bronson Fiore,
Hello.
and Anthony Ta.
Hello.
So, we are recording on September 10th, the day after Destiny launched, and I know myself, Bronson, and John have been playing the game. Unfortunately, Anthony has not upgraded to the new consoles. I told him, hey, why don't you just go ahead and buy the PS3 version since you can actually upgrade to the next generation version, or the new generation is what it's called, which that's a little news tidbit if you guys do not know. If you're kind of delayed and you don't have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One yet, you can go ahead and buy the Xbox 360 or the PS3 version, and then when you do upgrade your console, you can upgrade to the new version for free, which is really, really cool. They aren't even doing the... Because I know when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One came out...
You do have to be in the same family, though. So if you want to upgrade to the PS4, you had to get the PS3. If you want to upgrade to the Xbox One, you had to get the 360.
Makes sense. There you go. So, this is better than even the deal that when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One first came out, when they had deals with like Call of Duty and Battlefield and Assassin's Creed, where you just paid $10. Even $10, I think, would have been justified, but completely free. So, if you know you're not going to get a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One anytime soon, just go ahead and pick up the PS3 and 360 version. It might be kind of lonely on there, depending on if your friends upgraded or not. But it's worth checking it out. You don't end up paying any more for it. So I know we're going to be talking about Destiny since, I mean, that's what everyone's talking about right now. Arguably the biggest game of the year has come out from Bungie. It's a game they've been working on for years, being published by Activision, $500 million budget. Now, we will clarify that $500 million is not just game development. That includes marketing, further development, such as the DLC with the expansion packs coming out, and so on. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Day one. Now, keep in mind, this isn't sold to people. This is sold to stores. Day one, they sold $500 million worth of games to retailers, which, yeah, technically that's not sold to customers' hands, but they're going to sell. I mean, I remember I went to Target to go pick up my copy, and I paid about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they only had about 3 or 4 PlayStation 4 copies of Destiny left. So the game, it'll be interesting to actually see the day one sales figures if they release that, and then when NPD releases, not a single game will touch Destiny this month. There's no debating that. So it'll definitely be interesting to check it out. But Bronson and John, you guys have been playing the game. What do you guys think?
So I got the game in the mail this morning, an hour before I had to leave for work. So literally, I got to get everything installed, stare at my computer screen, and then, or my TV screen, at the character creation. It's like, well, shit, I gotta go shower and get ready for work. Got home from work, immediately started booting up the game. I'm level 4, right about to be able to do the crucible and connect all the planets and stuff. Yeah, I can tell that even from the bit, like, they've improved the shooting since the beta. Like, you can tell it's a little more polished than beta. I really like the way they did the menus and the story, and yeah, it's awesome. I'm really enjoying it so far. Granted, I'm only about 2 hours in.
How about you, John?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say exactly what Bronson said. It feels a lot tighter. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it feels so much better than the beta. I actually thought the alpha was better than the beta, but I mean, yeah, it's awesome. I'm probably not as far as Bronson, but pretty close.
Yeah, I had the opportunity. I picked up the game about 5 o'clock, and I played it just straight on from like 5 o'clock to about midnight. And then I played it just a little bit today. I haven't had too much time today. So right now I'm sporting a level 11 Titan. So I haven't been doing too many new story missions because I've been kind of like playing a mission here, going to the Crucible, going here, going everywhere, just get a really good feeling of the game. But it's definitely more polished from the beta. I think that, and let me know if you guys noticed this, maybe it's just me, but I did have one other person mention the same thing. To me, I mean, as far as the graphics are pretty much the exact same. The colors seem to pop a little bit more to me compared to the beta. I don't know if that's actually factual. Just that's the way it appears to me. But the game looks really really nice. It looks really really good.
I gotta say, I'm most impressed with the lighting. The lighting was good in beta, and it's even great now. Like, just, yeah.
Wait, hold up a second. People listening to the podcast have no clue about this text conversation. Anthony, you're fucking with us, right?
Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah, you're not serious, are you?
I am serious.
Wait, so you got a fucking PlayStation 4?
I got a PlayStation 4.
Yes.
What the fuck, Anthony?
I pre-ordered it. It showed up today. I have a white PlayStation 4 sitting on my desk right now with a copy of Destiny sitting by it. It's just that
any of us.
of course I didn't tell any of it.
That's awesome.
I bought it. It showed up today, so that was cool.
Anthony has got him a white Destiny bundle, and he also got a terabyte SSHD. It's funny because that's exactly what I have in my console. I have the Seagate 1 terabyte solid state hard drive. It's not fully solid state. It's what they call a hybrid drive. Well, Anthony, did you get a full solid state, or no? You got the hybrid.
I got the hybrid drive because a full solid state of that size would have crippled my.
Well, yeah, I'll say, dude, a terabyte solid state. Damn, dude, that shit would cost you the price of the PlayStation 4 right there. So, So Anthony has fucking joined the family. That is, you guys are. Well, technically this podcast comes out 2 days later, so we did find out before you guys. But if this was live, you'd be finding out the exact same time we did. It's funny because there's a text conversation, and we're like, Anthony hasn't gotten the PlayStation 4. And then he sends a picture, and I know he just recently ordered a laptop. So I was like, and it showed a picture of the laptop, a hard drive from Seagate, and a PlayStation 4. And I'm like, is this real? Because I know Anthony just ordered the MSI laptop. I know he talked about getting that exact same hard drive, and I know he wanted the Destiny bundle. But at the same time, he told us he wasn't going to do it. I was like, this can't be real. So I'm like texting back and forth. And he sent a picture of him opening it. I'm like, what? Wait a second. Anthony, is this real? So Anthony has jumped on board. Fucking awesome.
So Kyrie is supposedly getting one for her birthday. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But if it is, we have a raid team. Because raids in this game are 6 people. She's already
said, though, that she just wants it for the light. She doesn't care about Destiny. So...
Yeah, but I'm sure, like, if we're all playing it, we can probably get her to hop on. And if that's true, we have a 6-person raid team. Because that's what that game's raids are. It's 6 people. So, and let's see, how the classes go. I'm a Titan. Nick, you're a Titan. John, what are you?
Warlock, son. Exactly what I told you guys it would be.
Warlock. Anthony, what are you going to go? Hunter, Titan, or Warlock?
I want to be a Titan, but if everyone's a Titan, I'll probably go Hunter.
Okay, my alt's gonna be Hunter. Okay, so we got a Hunter. We have no idea what Bremen is, and we have no idea what Kyrie is. I would have laughed so hard if we had 6 Titans. It would have just been just a wall of armor. Anthony, I'm so happy. See,
seriously, who would have ever thought that someone else getting a PlayStation 4 could make someone's night? But that shit made my night.
Yeah, you totally got us too by surprise. Awesome.
Yeah, it was so funny too because I mean we don't really play in the podcast much. I mean it's called Unscripted Access for a reason, and here we go. This is very unscripted here, so good job, Anthony. But I was like, we're really gonna piss Anthony off this episode because we're gonna be talking about Destiny, and we're gonna be talking about DriveClub because I know DriveClub's. Yes, Destiny probably got him to get it now, but DriveClub's the game that really pushed him over. I'm sure if it was just Destiny, I don't think Anthony would have bit. But the fact that DriveClub's coming out next month, it's coming out in less than a month.
Comes out a week before my birthday. Like that's awesome in my opinion.
So now everyone on our staff besides Kyrie has a PlayStation 4,
and she might be getting one. So Now, none of us have an excuse when Persona 5 comes out, right?
Well, I won't be playing that. I have an excuse. It's called not being interested.
That game is going to be so good. But, no, Anthony, I'm super excited about this. But now, John, you and I have a new mission. And Anthony, we got to get Nick to get a Wii U.
That's going to be a bit harder.
I honestly don't... See, here's the thing. Like, it's not a money thing. It's not like, It's just that it's time, like I said. So Here, let me go ahead and explain this to you guys. So Destiny just came out. I'll be spending a shitload of time on that. But there's a lot of other games this year I want to check out. There's Sunset Overdrive, there's DriveClub, and just to give you guys an idea, like I'm a huge racing fan. Like I don't talk about racing games that much, but inside of me, I'm a hardcore racing fan. Just to give you guys an idea, Forza 5. So I didn't get my Xbox One day one, but I got it like a month or two after it came out. And of course I got Forza 5. And anyone who knows about Forza knows about the Forza levels. So just to give you guys an idea, let me get for you guys, and actually I'll have the staff do the same thing. So you guys are aware of the Forza levels, correct?
Yes. It's kind of like that level up thingy that they have. The more you play, the more it goes up and gives you bonuses.
Yeah, so I'll hand it over to you guys to take a guess at what level I'm at in Forza 5.
70.
Alright, what's your guess, Bronson? I think I might have told Bronson before, though, so...
Wait, what? Sorry, I didn't hear you there.
What my, what level I'm at in Forza 5. My, like, driving level.
I'd probably say the cap, what is it? What's the cap now?
Oh, the cap's like 999, dude.
Okay, never mind. I don't know, I would guess like 120 something.
287 is my level. So, just to give you guys an idea...
That doesn't surprise me at all, because, like, when you really get into those games, you really get into them. I remember when the very first Forza came out, I downloaded a bunch of custom soundtracks to my original Xbox. I just ripped all my CDs to it, and I would just race around the same tracks.
Like, just to give you guys an idea, like, if you guys have played Forza 5, I am close to completing every single track with every single class of car with gold. So that just gives you an idea. Like, I'll put it this way: my Xbox One right now has been my Forza box. I have not taken Forza out of my Xbox One for months because that's the only game I play on my Xbox One. Everything else I have on PlayStation 4. Now, obviously, that's going to change when Sunset Overdrive comes out.
That Halo collection.
And, yeah, the Halo collection as well.
Yes.
So the Halo collection and Sunset Overdrive will change that for me. So, because, yeah, that's just the thing. Like, the Wii U's cool. And if it was something where it would have been like the past year where there weren't many games, then I would possibly consider it. But my issue is that I don't have that much time. If I had to take a guess, I might have 10 to 15 hours a week to play games if I'm lucky. So it's like, okay, I look at those hours and I'm like, okay, Destiny has pretty much September booked. Like, Destiny's going to be the game. And starting in October, DriveClub's going to come in. I'm sure I'll still be playing Destiny, so I have Destiny and DriveClub. I believe Sunset Overdrive also comes out in October, so I'll have Sunset Overdrive in the mix, then the Halo Collection, then Little Big Planet 3, and then it starts into next year where we got The Order 1886 and Batman, and there's just so many games.
Yeah, but Batman's not out until June. We have Orders March, they've said?
No, it's February.
Okay, well, like, there's nothing in January, so, you know, and Smash
yeah, but I'm not gonna buy a console for just a month, though. Like,
oh, man, Smash. Gotta get that Smash Bros.
Here's the thing, I'll be honest with you guys. Smash is fun. Don't get me wrong. But, like, if any game was to get me to buy a Wii U, and I've said this before, it's freaking Mario Kart.
It's out, and it's the best one
yes,
forever.
I know. But here's the thing, I'd be buying the Wii U. Like, yes, I'd probably get Super Smash Bros. As well. I just don't have enough time for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One alone, let alone trying to fit in a Wii U into the mix, and it just wouldn't get played that much. I just know my gaming habits.
I know mine. That Xbox One, that thing sits there until Halo comes out.
Well, my Xbox One's been sitting there unless I say, I want to drive cars. Well, we don't have anything on PlayStation, so let me go and play Forza 5. Like I said,
you should race one day, Nick, because I really am curious how good you are at that game.
Oh, I'm pretty good.
Anthony, I'll be
well, yeah, I imagine with a
287.
With a 287 driving level, I'm pretty sure you'll beat me. I'm just really curious how much you'll beat me.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, that game is getting cheaper and cheaper, and with the new one coming out, it'll probably drop rock bottom.
The problem is I have to get an Xbox One first.
No, just play it at my house.
No, me and Anthony will just play DriveClub. We'll stick to that.
There you go.
DriveClub's a good one, except that's not a racing sim. It's based on real-world physics, but it's not really
a racing sim. Yeah,
Well-
it's like a mixture of like arcade and sim. It's like a mix of the two.
I read
Well-
that fact sheet again. It's like this is the most amazing thing ever. If only it was a sim.
Oh,
But
it
then again,
gets even better too. We're gonna talk
but
about
then
it
again,
later,
that's what
but-
Gran Turismo's for. That's the sim of the
Gran
PlayStation
Turismo isn't
when
coming
it comes
out.
out.
26 isn't coming out until like 2016.
Yeah, that's
2020.
disappointing. I mean, it's gonna be like
No,
DriveClub and Project
if it was
Cars
up to
until
Polyphony
then.
Digital, if it was Polyphony Digital, it'd come out in 2020. But Sony's gonna be on their ass, being like, "Look, motherfuckers, we're paying you guys to make this game, putting it out by 2016. That's your deadline."
So
I swear they better not have no premium bullshit going, premium and non-premium bullshit. That was
They can't do that again.
Yeah, they
just
really
can't.
And
So-
you know that's not something Polyphony Digital said from the get-go. Sony said, "Hey, you guys need to release by this day," and they're just like, "Well, it's just not going to be possible. So what we're going to have to do is have premium and non-premium cars."
I
And
feel
that's
like
what
they just did that because it's like, oh crap, Forza has more vehicles. Quick, access PS2.
I just feel like with Gran Turismo, like rather than having to go for 1,000 cars, like that's just astronomical. Like that's ridiculous. Like
Yeah, but
I think they should just go for like do it kind of what Forza does, like 300, 400 cars, maybe 500 if you can do it, and just make them all premium.
The problem, I mean, it's not just that too, but if you ever look at the car list of like just about any Gran Turismo game since it came out, there's like 20 or 30 different Nissan Skylines. And there's like 20 different versions of a Honda S2000, but then when you look at, say, a Ford Mustang, you only get like 3. It's very Japan heavy. And not to mention, too, like the Gran Turismo car list goes, okay, so we included the 2002 Honda S2000 and 2003 Honda S2000, and we've included the European, US, and Japanese versions. Why?
Yeah.
It's like, what gives? I mean, like, I really highly doubt I can even tell the difference in the driving between the European and the American version of the car. But yeah, that's a Gran Turismo rant.
Yeah, so that was my little.
With me driving games, with me in driving games, if they really grip me, I get addicted to them. Like in Project Gotham Racing 4 was the last game to do this. I unlocked every car and got gold on every track. I'm missing very little from that game. So, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so this would be the perfect segue into our next topic, but we really need to talk more about Destiny. So we'll continue with the Destiny talk. So yeah, the game's great. For those who have not played the game yet, which if you haven't, go pick it up because the game's awesome. If you played the beta for the first about hour and a half of gameplay, you're going to experience pretty much exactly what the beta was. Like, dead on. There's nothing really new. It's just going to be you start from the beginning, and you fight through the same missions and everything, and that's how the first hour and a half go. Not really going to say too much, and I couldn't even spoil much if I wanted to because I'm not that far into the game. But I have spoken to a couple people, and I know one guy who literally he had to download, so he started playing right at midnight, and he's played it for probably 25 hours thus far. And I talked to him a little bit, so essentially he said that it took him about 14, 15 hours to complete all the missions in the game. Within 14, 15 hours, all the missions in the game were 100% completed. He said he completed it through level 16, so his character got to level 16 when he completed, so he didn't even need to get to level 20 to complete all the missions. And he said he's kind of stuck right now for a couple reasons. So he told me that right now, outside of the missions, there really isn't too much of an incentive, and this is kind of where some of my worries come in. Is like I said, this game just came out, and to hear people saying that they don't have an incentive to keep upgrading per se. Because here's the thing: if you complete all the missions that fast, yes, once the raids start, yeah, the raids will probably incentivize people to level up and everything, but here's my concern is, okay, you complete all the missions, there's currently no raids, yes, there's the online multiplayer, but in most of those online multiplayer modes, everything's leveled out to keep everything on a level playing field. So it's like, what's the incentive to upgrading your weapons and upgrading your character when it's not really going to benefit you in any way? I don't know. Like I said, that's just a conversation I had with someone a little bit earlier today. I haven't done so myself, so I can't go completely off what he's saying, but I've addressed this before. The game's awesome. There's no debating that. It's very well designed. It's from the guys who designed freaking Halo. And like I said, a $500 million budget. The game better be awesome. I just guess my concern is it's this game, and they're like, oh, this game's gonna last forever, and blah 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 blah. But it's just like, right now, it doesn't seem that way. Is that a concern for you guys at all?
No, because like I've been playing MMOs a long time, and this is pretty much what happens. There are the really hardcore people who can hit level cap within a week. You know, some games make it so it's a month, but very early, faster than anyone else. And then they wait for everyone else to catch up, or a couple people, and then the raid content comes out. And what's supposed to keep you playing once the raid content's out, even now, is running the stuff on hard mode to get better gear. Like, so your character can be, even stronger without having to level again. If I'm going to use World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy for an example, when you hit level cap in those games, that's just the start of the real game, because you're going to be in whatever the current dungeon is and whatever the current raid is every night, all night, for weeks on end, trying to get that piece of gear you want to make your character stronger. And then after a couple months, they'll put out a patch with the first expansion and so on and so forth. And that's how that's going to work. Also, I feel as though, like, not only that, but there's two other classes to play that play completely different than whatever you start as.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Like, I keep hearing people say that is, oh, you can level up another class. But, like, I guess some people would be into that. But, like, me, for example, I'm not that type of player. Like, I'm the type of person that I'd rather play as one class and perfect that one class. Like, here's the thing. Like, Warlock. Like, Warlock doesn't interest me because with a game like Destiny, I'm just all about shooting, blowing shit up, and just being a beast. And that's what a Titan is. A Warlock, they've got, like, all these, it reminds me of, like, the Hayukin from Dragon Ball Z, where you can, like, shoot, and they've got all these other crazy powers and stuff. Like, super cool. Like, I'd love to have someone like that on my team, but that's just not me. I'm not going to play that way. And then the Hunter just absolutely is not my play style at all. Never do I ever play a game like, here I am with a Titan, and I'm getting sniper rifles, and I won't even think about using a sniper rifle. I don't care if I have the most powerful sniper rifle in the game, just because that isn't my gameplay style. I go in with assault rifles, and yeah, so it's like, as far as leveling up the other classes, like, that's just something I'm not interested in at all. I'm interested in focusing just on being a Titan and having a lot of gameplay length with this one's class. And I've been reading on the internet about it, and some people have some legit concerns, because it's like, so far it's day one, well, it's day two now, and there's plenty of people who have already completed all the missions, and there's not any type of, like, adventuring at all. Like, for example, like Borderlands, like, a lot of people are calling this, like, Halo meets Borderlands, which it kind of is. Like, the way I summarize this game, it's like Halo meets Borderlands meets Mass Effect. Especially when you're at the tower, it's, like, very similar to Mass Effect. The difference is, in a game like Borderlands, is there's room to adventure and you can do various things. In Destiny, that's not present at all. The tower is really the only place you can walk around without getting into... Yeah, like, on the Earth, there's what's called, I think they're called patrol missions, and I think on the Moon you have the same thing. But they're little, like, pointless missions that really serve no purpose at all, and it kind of worries me, because a game like Borderlands, to complete everything in Borderlands, you're talking about a lot of time. And I was just thinking with Destiny, like, Destiny is supposed to be this game that lasts forever. It's like, a game like Destiny, I would expect to last a lot longer than Borderlands, but it just seems like, from its current state, that that's not the case at all. It seems like Borderlands has a much longer playing length than Destiny. But like I said, I haven't completed all the missions myself. I haven't fully experienced everything in the game, so I'm just going off the discussions and what I've read and everything like that. They have announced that there's going to be 2 expansion packs. One's coming out in December. That's going to have new missions, and it says it's going to have its own story, and they haven't released much more information than that. But that will be releasing in December, and then they announced another one. And I'm sure with how well the game's doing, they're going to be releasing DLC, probably 2 or 3 packs a year until they come out with Destiny 2, which who knows when that'll be.
MMOs don't get... No, like as an MMO, you don't release DLC packs. You release patches.
Also, I think that one thing that you're not anticipating because you haven't played a style of this kind of game is the gear grind. Like I said, once you hit level cap...
Well, no, I understand the gear grind. Here's my thing, Bronson. Okay, so you've completed all the missions. Competitive multiplayer, everything's leveled out to even playing field. If there's nothing else to do in the game, what's the benefit of leveling up your gear if it's not going to do anything for you?
Well, there's multiple reasons. One, they do have a PvP mode where you bring your gear. So there is that.
They do have that one. Yeah, they do have that one PvP.
They do have that. And then it's so you could go redo those same missions that were hard with this new gear and just blow through them or experiment with them. You know, like, and also partially bragging rights. I mean, a big part of the whole, MMO thing is, I have, this.
People like to show off that they completed something really hard that 99% of the population have not been able to beat.
Exactly, like the World of Warcraft equivalent.
You stand out pretty easily when you are showing off something that a vast majority can never get to.
Yeah, like I think a good example, like the World of Warcraft one, is you get titles in that game for doing certain stuff and doing certain achievements. One of my titles is the Kingslayer, or killing the Lich King. Back in the day, when I first got it, it was actually really hard to do. So when people saw me walking through town, it's like, oh, holy shit, that dude's killed the Lich King. He must be in a high-end raiding guild or whatever. This game's gonna have that same thing where you walk through the tower, or you're in one of those more open field missions, and it's like, oh, holy shit, that guy has such and such gun or such and such armor. Like that. That's part of it.
What are your thoughts on it, John?
Well, I think Bronson and Anthony are thinking of it from like an MMO perspective. And I don't know about you, Nick. I'm not an MMO player, so I don't think that way. I don't want to sit here and play a game for 20 hours to get a freaking helmet. I want to kill shit and blow stuff up. Exactly what you said.
You do that to get the helmet.
Well, here's the thing. I have a middle of a road approach to this because a traditional MMO normally has about a really, really long, many, many, many hours spent for you to even hit the level cap. And once you hit the level cap, they give you like a major incentive. It's like, hey, you want this really cool item? Well, you're going to have to work for it. And then that's what gets people going. And if I'm hearing stuff like Nick is reading stuff like people are playing for 15 hours and they've ran out of incentives to play, that's a worry. Because now I'm like, well, what did you guys do with your $500 million? And yeah, John
DLC, all the DLC.
We got DLC.
Yeah, I'm sure with every expansion pack, you'll probably add another 15 hours. But are you telling me that, okay, on the rate I'm playing the game, I'll probably be fully level capped, all the missions completed probably by early next week? Are you telling me that I'm going to have almost nothing to do until December when the next expansion pack comes out? Like, that's not what I was expecting from this game.
I mean, you could always complete those missions again on hard for better loot.
Here's the thing. When you play an MMO, you actually understand that the concept of an MMO is, okay, I want my really awesome relic weapon. Let's run this dungeon again and again and again and again and again. But the problem is that you always have to keep in mind, I want that cool weapon, as to why you are doing the same thing over and over again every single day. And sometimes that can look really tedious depending how you design it. Because if it looks like this really long, endless path of you beating your head against the wall, doing the same tasks every day, making the game feel like a job and a chore, just so you can get something cool, I don't know if everyone's going to buy into that idea, considering this game is kind of like marketed towards the average person who plays shooters, like Nick.
I mean, there is that, but I think part of it is good encounter design. Like, if the bosses are interesting and fun to fight. So you know, like, there are bosses in MMOs that, like, I could fight over and over and over again every week for that one piece of gear because they're a fun fight. Like, I look back to World of Warcraft, and I remember, you know, like, Razorgore or Kel'Thuzad, you know, were really good, interesting fights, so I didn't mind, like, every week, okay, we're going to go through Naxxramas again because certain people need these pieces of gear. Like, that's the secret if you want to make the grind entertaining. You know, like...
Well, yes, the good fights are a good, entertaining thing, but something tells me that if people are playing this game for like 15 hours and are already saying we ran out of things to say, whereas an average MMO, you normally have a full month or something like that before those things happen, it's like, what's actually in the game?
Well, yeah, so that's what I don't get. It's like, for the planets, for example, Earth, I was thinking that old Russia was just, that was the only part that was displaying for Earth because it was the beta. And I get the final game, and old Russia is the only part of Earth. I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, almost every single mission on old Russia has almost the exact same environment. Like, yes, it's just this big environment, and missions take part in different places, but it's not like everyone is its own little world. And it's like the only place on Earth you have is old Russia? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I was expecting another 5 or 6 environments. And then, yes, you have, like, the moon, and then you have Mars, but I was expecting, like, 5 or 6 places on, like, each planet. And it's just like, with the missions, like, I'm gonna be honest, for me, and I'm not speaking for everyone else, like, for me, like, I wasn't excited for this game because of PvP. Like, yes, it has PvP, but I'm more interested in this game for the co-op. Like, the co-op and the missions and everything. And especially if they're using pretty much the exact same environments, there's no excuse as to why they couldn't have loaded this game up with a fucking shitload of missions. Like, with the environment, like, they should be releasing, like, new missions, like, weekly, and it not cost them or take too much time because they've already got the environments, and that's pretty much what they're doing with out of the box. You go to old Russia and you complete the missions. They're all in the same environment. It's just like, here you want to go collect this, and here you want to go do that. It's like, okay, if it's the missions are that simple as far as the design goes, because all the assets are there. You're just adding this little part here. The game should have almost an unlimited amount of missions. I just don't get it how you can completely complete everything within the matter of 14 hours.
I think they are going to do that. I think that they're going to do that MMO thing that a lot of them do. It's just like, oh, it's Halloween, we're going to have this special boss, or oh, it's been 2 weeks, every 2 weeks we're going to have this event or that event, or, you know, it varies from MMO to MMO. Like, I know Final Fantasy XIV had this Christmas thing last year. I know WoW has one for, like, every holiday. Like, they even celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day, and all the NPCs talk at you like a pirate. Like, so, once again, the content, the amount of content doesn't really bother me, especially if it's really good content. And so from what I played so far, the shooting's really good, nice and tight, and the game looks good, and the music's been one of my favorite parts of the game so far. So if it lacks content but it has all the other aspects, I'm not going to be too freaked out, worried, or concerned.
Well, see, that's my thing, is like, if you build an amazing game, which Destiny definitely is, I've played it for a good amount of time. Currently, at the time of this recording, I'm level 11 as a Titan, and I'm loving the game. Everything's so good about the game, but if it lacks the content, it's just like, that's going to be very frustrating for me, because I've been waiting for this game for a super long time. and I'm loving the game. And I just want it to be something where every time I go to play Destiny, there's always something to do. Not for me to go in there and be like, well, I'm maxed out on my level. All the missions are complete. I've beat every mission probably 20 times now. I've beat it all on hard. Well, I guess I have to wait till the next expansion pack, or I have to wait until Halloween for them to release this holiday event that's only going to be there for a couple days, and then I'm have nothing to do afterwards. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where we're going to have to. I mean, none of us really know what's going to happen. Like, the game just came out. We don't know Bungie's plans as far as how active they're going to be in keeping the game updated. Are we going to cease? Like, for example, they have the whole message system where you can go to the tower and you get messages, and like the bounties are constantly free fresh, which that I like. And the fact that relatively often it refreshes with new bounties, and you do those bounties to get experience, and then you get I think it's called Vanguard points, which you can then use to buy like premium weapons and stuff. Like, I like that. The fact that it's being refreshed on, I think it's like refreshed like every 12 hours or something like that, I like. And I want to see that type of stuff with the missions. Like, just do stuff like with these missions, refresh them like every like week or so, and have like different various monsters and like different things going on, just to keep it very dynamic and active. That's what I'm hoping they do.
Yeah, the thing, unfortunately, even if it's dynamic and active, it's going to eventually hit a point where, unless there's literally a man on the other side trying to come up with something new every day. A fact about MMOs is that players burn through content way, way, way faster than they can ever make them. And that's the truth about any MMO, okay? So it happens all the time. This is why everybody complains about 1 or 2 months after a game comes out, or an expansion comes out, or a patch comes out, oh, we ran out of things to do. Well, they just can't make them fast enough, so what do? They introduce really hard stuff to keep you busy, so that way you and your friends, if you're up for it, go out there and die 150 times a week just to beat this really hard special boss that drops something that looks amazingly awesome, and that's how they keep you playing while they're busy trying to make sure their next dungeon doesn't blow up.
Yeah, like I said, I've been playing Warcraft for 10 years this November. And I've played plenty of other MMOs. The community for these games is a fucking swarm of starving locusts that just cannot be stopped. And there's only 3 things you can do, really. 1, make them grind. Hardcore grinding. Like, back in the days of the original World of Warcraft, everyone had to get 2 sets of gear. Their regular epic set of gear and their fire resistance gear, because a lot of the endgame raids would light you on fire.
That sounds fun.
Okay, that's one option. Or there's gated progression. Alright? What gated progression is like, okay, we're going to release this raid in tiers. It's going to have 12 bosses, and we're going to release 3 bosses a week. So it's like, so a perfect example of this is, let's say Naxxramas, which was like I want to say it was a 12 boss. It had 5 wings, basically. It was a 5-wing raid, and each one with 3 bosses, or 3 bosses, and then one of them had only 2. So it's like, okay, this week this wing comes out. This week this wing comes out. 2 weeks after that, this wing is coming out. So you can gate progression, or you could say, so you got gated progression or grinding, or you do what Anthony said, where you make it super impossibly fucking hard. Because no matter...
There's another approach that they do, which is currency caps. So instead of letting people the ability to go 48 hours straight, blasting through the same thing ever and racking up a gigantic stack of currency, and then say, okay, I've got all the items now. What they do is they put a limit, like you can only get 300 of this currency a week. So it forces it, basically you can't get it any faster because of that kind of cap. So that's how they prolong things also. But the bigger concern I have right now isn't necessarily what happens after the content, it's the initial level of content, because you would think that with $500 million, I'm thinking like, ooh man, there must be a lot to do in this game. Like, it's freaking awesome. They've spent $500 million on this, including marketing. That must be a lot to do, right? And then I hear, like, 14 hours. I'm like, where did all their money go to? The cinematics department? Like,
Bungie does spend a lot of time with their games after they do come out. So it's not like it's a company that's not dedicated in bringing new content to their gamers. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess. What were you going to say, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the initial level content because it's like, oh, a new patch comes out and everyone's done with it in about 15 hours. Okay,
Well,
that sounds pretty normal, but I'm starting to hear stuff like, oh, I'm 15 hours in with not much incentive left. I'm like, but this game's been in development for years and that's all? I'm pretty sure there's more, and you know they may be missing something, but that doesn't sound right to me.
I mean, like I said, I don't think they finished it on hard also, because every mission has a hard mode, and they have a hard mode, and then there's the regular normal
yes,
mode.
Yes, but even then, a traditional MMO has more than 15 hours of story questing.
Yeah, but this isn't a traditional MMO. Like that's the thing
Great.
that we're forgetting.
So why is
here.
there only like 15 hours before it's like, okay, now it's time to do the same thing but harder?
Oh.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like it could lose its fresh factor kind of quickly right there.
We'll see. Like I said, I think the actual game here though is really well made. So I'm not exactly upset yet.
It is, but you know, I'm just kind of like a person who's really into value for money, and if I'm like, okay, so they spent $500 million, and what I got out in return is a game that I feel finished with after only 25, there's something going on here. Obviously, when the raids come out or whenever they unlock and whatnot, it's going to be really fun. Us all dying at the same boss for like 6 hours a night.
Ever.
6 hours a night. We're going to plan Wednesdays at like 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yeah,
set up schedules for this, and then, oh man, that sounds a little terrifying if I'm honest. But yeah, I'm kind of like in the middle of this. Part of me, it's like, yeah, MMOs get this problem a lot. There are like those who play the game straight up. Like I remember, like there are like these people like just freaking wearing these really cool pieces of stuff about a month or two after Final Fantasy XIV came out already. And there's always going to be like that super elite group that's going to figure out all the ins and outs, and super fast learners dedicate their lives to you know, beating the hardest stuff possible in night, and I don't know how they do it.
I am always gonna remember the first time I had that holy shit, look at that gear moment in like an MMO, and it was in WoW. It was and I was a hardcore raider, but we were on tier 1 when tier 2 progression was going on, and I remember seeing the tier 2 paladin armor, a complete set of it, and I'm like, that is the coolest fucking armor set ever. And then I found out that was for paladins only, and I was very sad. And then I found out what the warrior equivalent was, and I was kind of happy because you looked like a Power Ranger villain. So, I don't know. We should move on to a different topic. I think Nick's back, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm back. So, yeah, we'll just kind of have to wait and see how things plan out. End of this year, we'll have a better idea of...
it's still very early.
Yeah, it's still very early.
Because whenever you're talking about a persistent world in any MMO, you can't even review the game after a week. I mean, to be honest, whenever you review anything that involves a huge amount of players and constant updates, you kind of have to give it like 6 months before you have a really, really good idea of what Destiny or Final Fantasy or Warlords of Draenor is like. Because MMOs, you can't play it in 2 weeks, because you gotta think about it. What happens after an MMO comes out? Because first off, you have the huge rush of people coming in, but then the huge rush of people is suddenly gone. And then as time goes on, first 2 weeks are like, yeah, I've got lots of story quests, I got lots of dungeons, lots of raids, lots of things to do. But after about a month or two, then you start to really learn how well the game can hold up. Well, yeah, you start to realize what's going to happen. You're going to notice how quickly do people drop this game, how interested you still are, whether there's enough to keep you going before whether to make you decide whether you're going to bail out until the next expansion or keep going.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, that's
a
the
lot
thing,
can
like-
happen in 2 months because
Well,
the
yeah.
initial impression is you've got so much to do, but then 2 months later, after playing the game for like 120 hours, you're like,
Yeah,
what
I
happened?
agree. It's just like one of those things where it's like I can't determine if this is my game of the year yet. Like that's a question that I literally won't be able to answer until I'm making my list because it all comes down to how long this game lasts me. Like yes, it will definitely be in my top 10 list for sure, without a debate. Like even if it upsets me, it's gonna be in my top 10 because overall it's a very solid game.
I mean, yeah, like,
but it's not unless if it's in order to earn my number one spot, it's gonna have to every time I turn on the game, there's gonna have to be content that keeps me interested in it. If they're able to do that, and every time I come into the game, there's something new, something for me to do, keeps me interested, then absolutely, it will probably be my game of the year.
I mean, I'm looking at the games for the rest of the year that have game of the year potential, and I'm like, okay, there's Smash, there's Bayonetta. I mean, Dragon Age, maybe.
I'm gonna say no to Dragon Age because knowing the history of BioWare games, with the exception of like Mass Effect 2,
Sunset
they're
Overdrive?
good. They're good, but it's not
Infamous
like
Second Son's fucking amazing.
You know, like
Dragon Age. Wait, Dragon Age?
no, I'm talking about from the second half of the year, like this.
Oh,
this
it's like, well, yeah, I was
upcoming-
about to say this year in general, Infamous Second Son is
Oh, Transistor and Donkey Kong. Holy shit, those games were good. Like those. Infamous was great as well. Titanfall was awesome, but the more I go back to it, the more I'm like, man, this game just man. If you don't think Destiny has enough content, Titanfall really doesn't have enough content.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, Titanfall's not that type of game though. Like Titanfall wasn't marketed as a game that this game like Activision and Bungie have come out and saying this game's gonna last an awful long time. Like that's quoting them. They came out and said this game's gonna last an awful long time. And when you say something like that, like your expectations are kind of raised because a game like Titanfall, like we kind of knew we were getting ourselves into with that game. So yeah, it's not that much of a disappointment. Whereas with Destiny, when I'm talking about, it's this game that's gonna have a lifespan of like 10 years and it's gonna have an awful long play time and this and that, like you need to live up to that because if you don't, you're gonna have a lot of people extremely upset. And then you get bad press, and it's funny because if you guys notice, there's very few Destiny reviews out there, and the reason why is because Activision didn't send out copies. People got review copies. Some people got theirs Friday. Some got them the day before launch, which doesn't give you enough time to play the game before you can review it. And
that's because Destiny means you have to work with other people, and there's only like 20 reviewers who aren't on at the same time. How do you review Destiny properly without people to do things?
Well, exactly. That's like they probably like sent like 10 copies to IGN, and they have like all their editors playing together and stuff. But the thing is even Bungie came out, or it was either Bungie or Activision came out and said warning about early reviews that they may not be the best because of, like I said, you can't really review a game like this until you see how it spans over time. And if your first initial impression is, okay, this game that's being marketed as a game that's going to last an awful long time and within 14 hours I have nothing left to do, that's going to get a lot of negative feedback. So it kind of makes me wonder, it's like they put out that warning, so they kind of anticipated it. Is that why they waited so long to send out the review copies as well? Is because they didn't want any type of negative publicity hitting in the internet, possibly preventing people from picking up the game? Because the game's selling unbelievable numbers. Like I said, we don't know the exact number, but the fact that they were able to sell $500 million worth to retailers gives you an idea of how many copies were sold, and that answer is a shit ton. Like if I had to take a guess, hopefully those numbers will come out any day now. I'd probably say this game probably sold at least 5 to 6 million day one, easy. 5 to 6 across all platforms, of course. I'd say it probably sold 5 to 6 million day one, which is about 2/3 of that $500 million. So probably within 3 days, they probably sell out of their initial stock. So Yeah, I mean the game's doing very well, and I just hope that, and I'm sure they will. I mean, if they have that many people buying the game, they have to support their user base because one, that's a lot of people relying on you guys, and two, that's a lot of money to be made. So I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. I'm enjoying the game, and it'll definitely be interesting to see how Bungie pursues this because Bungie is not Blizzard. This is their first time attempting something like this. Activision doesn't even have experience with this. Well, Activision bought Blizzard, but Activision by itself, before they bought Blizzard, didn't have any type of experience with this. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, DriveClub. So it's so funny because I thought we were going to annoy Anthony, and he got a PlayStation 4. So now he's like, oh, you guys can talk about DriveClub all you want because I'm getting it too. So DriveClub, the good news keeps pouring in. This game, man, I'm so glad they delayed it. They delayed it. It's been almost a year since it was delayed. It's supposed to launch with the PlayStation 4. It's coming out October 7th, I believe. So it's about 11 months delay. And I'm so glad because when I played at E3 2013, just wasn't impressed with the game. That was a game I'd probably test out or whatever, but after seeing and actually playing it at E3 2014, I'm like, this game will be a game I own for sure. It's so good. But the news just keeps on getting better. So Evolution Studios put up a post on the PlayStation blog today talking about their DLC schedule. And it seems like an awful lot of the DLC is going to be free. So they've already announced that they'll be releasing a free update after the game that further improves upon the weather system. Of course, that's going to be free. I mean, they'd get so much negative press if that wasn't free. But even though they said they've got over 55 routes with over 25 tracks in the game, they're going to be bringing in a lot of new tracks, and all of the tracks will be free. That's what they said on their PlayStation blog, that the new tracks will be free. Which is kind of what they did with Forza. They came out with the Nürburgring, which was free, and I think they came out with one other track that was free. But they're also going to have, just like most games do, a season pass. But it looks like the season pass is only going to apply to new cars. So it makes it seem like with DriveClub, all future tracks will be free to download. There won't be any type of purchasing needed. The only thing that they'll charge for are the cars, which could be expected. I mean, they can't keep releasing content and releasing it for free. Like, well, I mean, technically, if you look at Burnout Paradise, I don't know how they did that because they released like a whole other map. They enabled bikes. They did so much with that game and released it for free. I still don't know how they did that. Probably just with how many flat out millions of copies they sold, which a big part of that, and the part of the reason why I bought the game is, yes, it was fun, but the amount of support they provided for free, I mean, you couldn't beat it. So, looks like we can expect something very similar with DriveClub. So, Anthony's finally got a PlayStation 4. So, Anthony, how excited are you?
I'm pretty excited. I'm not like the most excited for DriveClub. I mean, that's kind of weird saying that now that I have a
Wait,
PS4.
I was like, hold up a second. Is this Anthony?
It's like, that did not sound
answering?
right. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, why is it that now that I have something that have a PS4, my interest in DriveClub went down a little bit?
It's always that thing where people want what they can't have. Now you can have it, so you're not interested anymore.
Yeah, I guess. Which is, oh man, I did not buy this bundle until last Saturday. That's how late it was.
Well, wait, was this before or after recording?
This was just before the recording, so I effectively lied to you while we were standing outside the whole time.
Damn it!
He tricked us all.
I had just ordered it just before I went over to record it, and I basically lied to you the whole time.
Yeah, and not only that, the entire time, like, we're trying to get him to buy one the entire time, and I'm like, I'll let you use my Dell account for free shipping.
And I'm like, no.
Really, Bronson?
And part of me was like,
you're trying to sell someone on a $400 console, and you're like, you can use my Dell account for free shipping.
Free next day shipping, so that's like $40.
Free next day shipping does technically save me like $30.
Wait, I was about to say, because free shipping, where would you have to pay for shipping when you order the PlayStation 4? Like,
yeah, but free next day shipping.
Well, yeah, so. Next day, yeah.
But yeah, like, I was like saying, like, no, I just spent $1,300 on a laptop, which, by the way, this laptop has... I'm already pissed off at this laptop today. But I was like, I just spent $1,300 on a laptop. Are you serious? But the real reason in the back of my head is like, I already bought it, damn it.
That's so funny.
Which, by the way, when we have time, I'm going to rant on this laptop a little bit.
Yeah, we'll definitely have time for that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, DriveClub. Yeah, I re-looked at that fact sheet that they had a few months ago about how it says that stuff like, hey, it takes like 7 months worth of man hours to do each car, I think. And how the stuff that they did was so awesome that some car companies were like, hey, can we use some of your stuff? Like, stuff like that. So that actually was pretty nice. Along with the Destiny ad on the side. That was terrible. Yeah, I'm excited for DriveClub. I don't care about the DLC. If it's free, awesome, sweet. But usually most car DLCs kind of felt a little, and they never really felt substantial enough. That's my problem with car DLC, especially with Forza. I bought a few car packs in Forza 3.
Yeah, but Anthony, no one has ever perfected the lights in the car like DriveClub. Maybe they're different.
Okay, look, that remains to be seen. In E3, I only played that game for like 10 minutes, and all I saw was a stability control light. Okay, that's about the only thing I focused on.
As he crashed into the wall.
As I crashed into the wall because I was not used to the driving physics whatsoever. I'm used to Gran Turismo, so to have that kind of arcadey control, it's like, you know how like an arcade driver goes into a sim and then they're driving off the road all the time because in a sim you can't go around a corner as fast. Well, it's kind of weird how I play a sim all the time, and then when I play an arcade physics game, I am the one that runs off the road and crashes into walls. But yeah, the fact she brought up stuff like, hey, you know those little specific little bits and bolts with specific logos? Yeah, we replicated that too. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, so are you replicating something that the camera can never see? If the camera can look at it, that's cool. If not, Anyways, it remains to be seen because all I saw was a stability control light. Because at this point, a lot of racing games, they've got the major details. The speed needle moves. The engine needle moves. Ref counter lights light up. Just like the real car. But that's about it. But, yeah. I asked the guy, could you start the car? And I forgot what he told me. Because I wasn't really... it's been a while. But yeah, DriveClub is going to be cool. My only concern at this point is, considering I'm going to get DriveClub right away, which is a $60 game, I hope there's enough content in it to make it feel like a $60 game. Yes, the detailing is awesome.
Oh, I'm sure there is. There's like 55 different variations of like 25. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I hope that's
the case.
There's only like 50 cars, but the game seems to be decked out with.
Yeah, I hope that's the case
tracks.
because obviously the biggest feature that's grabbing my attention is the detailing they're putting to the cars. But I also remembered that Forza 4 tried to do something like that with AutoVista, and my problem with AutoVista and Forza 4 was that they had about 20 vehicles for you to look at, and I got bored of the feature after about 40 minutes after playing with all the bells and whistles. That's my concern. Is it could be something I get bored of quickly. Unless there's like unless I get really enamored with driving around mountain roads and fiddling with all the buttons in the car. If you can't fiddle with buttons in the car, oh wow, if you could like toy around with the suspension settings just like in real life, that would be amazing. That makes it a lot better. But yeah, I'm excited for DriveClub. Now that I have a PS4, maybe I'm not as desperate for it, because now I know I can definitely get one. Near future.
Anthony spent that moolah recently. Got him a new laptop, got him a Destiny bundle, and got him a terabyte hard drive for it.
What's really funny about this, around this time of year last year, actually like 10 days after this I bought a Wii U bundle and my laptop. So it's September.
Yeah, except the Wii U, but well, actually, it was equally expensive because your laptop was more expensive, but the Wii U was cheaper.
Yeah,
for me, it's like kind of like the other round. The laptop was cheaper than yours, but the Destiny bundle just kind of.
Anthony, we both spent $2,000.
Spent for me the laptop, the Destiny bundle, and the hybrid drive. That was $1,900. That is not something that feel like freaking. You look at your financial statements at the end of the month, and you just look at it, and you're just like, I had effectively spent $1,900 in tech in 1 month. And I calculated this can give you like 8 or 10 or 12 years of MMO subscription time. Like, think about that. straight like at $15 a month, you can get like 8-10 plus years of MMO subscription time. Like, yeah, you kind of really ask the question, what can you buy with $1,900? A lot of things. Yeah. Which, by the way, might as well talk about this little laptop. There is a problem with it right out of the box, and it really pissed me off, which is why I'm not as ecstatic tonight as I could have been. Left speaker has distorted sound. I don't know. This is extremely infuriating. It's like you spend $1,300 on a laptop. You have the guys like modify it slightly according to your order, which I told Exotic PC, I just want to take out the standard hard drive, put an SSD in it, and give it special cooling paste. Simple enough. Showed up today, super static, turned it on, and the moment any sound came out of the speakers, the left speaker has distorted sound. Like it's like a damaged speaker, or it's a defective speaker. And I just sat there and I just couldn't like. There was a step along the order process called quality assurance, and you would think that this step right here would be far better than anything HP ever does, because HP probably like quality checks 1 in every 5 systems on the assembly line, whereas these guys actually quote quality check all the laptops. And here I am with a defective speaker, and now I'm wondering, it's like, so when you say quality assurance, did you actually check that everything, including the sound, works perfectly, or did you just check that all the bolts were screwed in correctly? Like, it is really frustrating that I've waited an entire month for a $1,300 laptop to show up, only for it to be defective, and so now I probably have to send it for a warranty repair immediately.
Well,
it drives you nuts.
Well, since you bought it brand new, can't they just exchange it out?
Yeah, they probably could. I'm gonna contact Exotic PC tomorrow, but here's the problem.
Don't let them say they have to do a warranty repair. They should just exchange it out for you. You just bought the thing.
The problem here is that that's like another 2 or 3 weeks of me not having a laptop, and I waited nearly an entire month for this thing.
Oh, because yours is custom built? It
is slightly custom built, and it is slightly modified by this small business in Nebraska called Exotic PC. So and they're very highly rated, like freaking people love this company. I was referred to it by a friend of Bronson and mine, Alex. He referred me to it. He recommended it. Company has very good ratings. I purchased something for them, and it shows up, and freaking straight out of the box, it's already worse than an HP laptop because the speakers don't work.
I love how he shits on Alienware all the time. All day, every day. I had a conversation with him in work. Whenever it got to one of my laptops, he would just poop on Alienware, and this thing has not had a problem. And my last one, it did have a problem, but they sent someone to my fucking house to fix it.
Yeah, in this case, I don't know what the process is going to be for this, but it's like you special order a well, I'm going to come up with an analogy. It's like you special order a Corvette. You special order a Chevrolet Corvette. Chevrolet's a pretty good company. Corvette's a very popular car, very nicely. It's a nice performance car very good performance car for the price. You special order it from the factory. Factory delivers it straight to you. You didn't have to go through a dealer or anything. And then immediately after starting the car, you realize that the transmission works, but it's feeling a little clunky. Like, it doesn't feel like it's supposed to, like it's slightly broken. Now, to be honest, this laptop, everything on it works. It's just that one speaker. And mind you, this is a gaming laptop I just bought, and I don't use headphones all the time. So it's really annoying. It's not like it's a dead pixel. Ugh. So anyways, the PS4 showed up at my house. The laptop shows up. It's a really exciting evening, and that one thing just kind of wrecked it all, because now I'm like, crap, I just got this thing and I have to send it back now. Even for an exchange. So I'm going to stop myself from looping right there and stop. But
yeah,
it's not like with an Xbox, and it's not like with an Xbox where you can just go back to a store and say, yeah, I want to return it because it's broken.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because if yours wasn't custom built, then I'd fuss them out and have them overnight me a replacement. But yeah, if yours is custom built, then it's gonna take them time to do that again. Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Realistically,
maybe
it's
they can
just
do something where I know, for example, Apple. And this is once again Apple. They always have incredible customer service. I don't know if they would be able to do this.
I'm pretty sure
but
because when you're spending like at least $1,500 for the most basic MacBook Pro, you really do need to have excellent customer service.
yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah, no,
I know with
I'm
Apple,
always
for
gonna
example,
remember-
like if I have a problem with my iPhone, or I mean the MacBook obviously works a little bit differently, but well, no, like for example, if you buy an iPhone or a MacBook or anything, if you have any issues, what they can do is you can keep the one you have. What they'll do is they'll place a hold on your card for the amount of whatever they're sending you, just in case you never sent the old one back. But they put a hold on it. They send you a brand new one. So yes, the speaker's still out, but still functional. You can still use it. And then once you get it, they include a prepaid label. You send it back. You don't have to pay for it. When they get it back, they take the hold off your card. They do that with all of their products. And anytime I've had an issue with the iPhone, I'm like, I don't want to go to the Apple store and deal with it. So I just call them. They get the iPhone to me usually the next business day. If I talk to them in the morning, then I pretty much put my phone in there with the label. Then they take the hold off my card when they get it. It's that simple. Once again, that's Apple. Unfortunately, not everyone's that convenient.
I remember my first experience when it comes to buying an Apple product, and it was the iPhone 3GS. And to this day, I'm still astounded by the amount of fantastic customer service that store is. I went in, I talked to the dude. It was like a Friday night. We're getting phones from my mom and I, and like, dude's like, okay, what kind of plan do you want? Well, like, just this dude is walking me through step by step with this phone, and we were set up and out of that store in 30 minutes with 2 new iPhones. Like, and every time you go in that store, those dudes are all over you, ready to help you, and they get shit done quickly and can answer all your questions. The only thing I dislike about Apple is how fucking expensive it is, but it's typically worth the cost.
Well, here's the thing. So, let's talk about this a little bit. We'll talk about this a little bit because Apple just had a big event yesterday. And I know this is a gaming podcast, but we'll go into it a little bit because it's still tech. So, yeah, the thing with Apple is they tend to be a little bit more. But the MacBooks, yes, definitely. MacBooks, you're paying for the name, but you're also paying for what I think. Like, if you're gaming, yes, if you're gaming, you definitely want a PC. But on a Mac, you can run Windows. A lot of people seem to forget that. You can run Windows on a Mac. But anyways.
The problem is that you're running... It's literally straight up, you can just dual boot a Windows operating system.
Yeah, right? You can dual boot it.
Because the only catch currently is that I think you can only do it with 7 currently. Because I don't know if 8.1 can do that.
I don't know if they have 8.1 out for Mac.
7's I know 7 definitely works.
Yeah, which I'd use Windows 7 over Windows 8 any day. But
yeah, speaking of which, I know we're trying to segue this somehow, but Windows 8. First time I've used it for more than 5 minutes. I'm trying. I am trying not. I mean, I'm really split on it. Part of me feels like, yeah, this is something that I can get used to and feels pretty convenient. But you kind of have to set stuff up first in order for it to be convenient. And part of me is just sitting here, fuming at the damn thing, going, it's like, where can I go to find all my programs? Oh, there's this little button right here called apps. Ugh. And then I have to rearrange my start menu, and then there's always the usual process of cleaning out junk, which thankfully, because it's an MSI gaming laptop, it doesn't have that much junk. They scattershot my start screen to look like a tablet screen, and I don't have any touch screen here. So I'm just I'm like, oh my goodness, where freaking put the start menu as an option, please. Those are the first gut reactions. And because I'm so used to Windows 7, trying to get to think what would normally take me 2 steps in Windows 7 now, what was it be 2 or 3 clicks in Windows 7 has now become a couple keystrokes and a couple clicks in Windows 8.1 or something like that. It probably takes getting used to, but the gut reaction is to just fume at it for not having a Windows 7 interface option.
Real quick thing about Apple for a second here. I looked up the Apple equivalent to my laptop, which would be a 15-inch, and it would have cost me $1,000 more.
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely gonna pay more for a MacBook. There's no debating that. So if you're looking for a gaming machine, I mean, if money isn't an issue, get that freaking nice ass Mac Pro that's out. Thing's a freaking beast.
It's like that cylinder thingy, right? They decided to go all designer fashion with the thing and made this simple little cylinder, whereas the old Mac Pro was literally this giant tower.
But then you're talking about those start I think like 35.
They start at 3. They go to 4. And if you're looking for gaming, they both offer the same video card, which is dual AMD Fire Pro D500 with 3 gigabytes of GDDR5.
Yeah, the problem is that Fire Pro is a professional graphics card. It's not a consumer graphics card, so I don't know exactly how those work in games. I don't know. It's like professional graphics cards are usually a lot more expensive than equivalent consumer ones, but that's because they're designed for professional and business sectors.
Well, yeah, that's why, in general, if you're looking for gaming, then yes, you probably want to build your PC or go with a PC. Outside of that, I can't find a single way to say that, hey, Windows is better than Mac as far as an operating system. I haven't experienced it. I've used both platforms. I have a custom PC. I have a MacBook. And unless I was to get serious with PC gaming, there's no way I'd ever go from a Mac to PC. Ever. Yes, you pay for it, but just the overall experience is much better. Everything works better. It's just, yeah.
The thing is, though, is, like, if you strip the graphics card out of my video, like, I have a high-end graphics card in my laptop. So if you strip that out, the equivalent, Mac is still $600 more, and I'm just not willing to pay $600 for a better interface. Like, it's just not happening.
Also,
I love Macs. I loved working on them in college. They're great machines, but just that fucking cost, I cannot justify it. I can justify, I've been planning to buy my mom a computer for a while now because she needs one. She does everything on her phone. It's she needs a real computer or at minimum a tablet. And I'm like, yeah, I'll pay an extra $200 for a MacBook Air for the same specs. That's worth it. Hello?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like a Mac is one of those things that you probably don't really, really, really understand the true value of a Mac until you actually own one, not just try one. That's what I feel. I stood at a store and looked at a Mac, and I'm like, so I've used it for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes while the I forgot what they call those sales representatives that are with you the whole time while you're in the store. But
Genius.
No,
that's what they call it?
That's what they use. That's what they call the Genius bar. Those are if you have any issues or anything.
I know. Just so the sales lady was helping me out and telling me everything about the laptop and whatever financial options there were, and I kind of got it. For one thing, the one thing that really stood out to me about a Mac that probably could justify some of the extra $600 cost. First off, that build quality is just about perfect. I'm sorry, it's no cheap. It didn't feel cheap in any conceivable way. Granted, the model I was looking at was the Retina display with all this stuff, but brushed aluminum finish.
Well, none
keyboard
of the Macs,
just right.
All the MacBooks have extremely high build quality. All of them do.
Yeah, so that's one reason why you want to justify the price is build quality. You get free operating system upgrades. Which for me is kind of a big deal because whenever you're running your computers on freaking 5 or 6 year life cycles before the next one, free operating system upgrades is actually kind of a huge deal. Because
plus you get them on an annual basis.
And an annual basis, so you get them faster.
Yeah.
So, and you would hear
And
stuff
there's-
like 2010 MacBooks are running on the latest operating systems, whereas if you have a Windows 7 computer and would like to go to 8, sorry, you got to go to Microsoft and pay $100 or $150 for an Windows 8 license, which is
Plus
quite a,
what's
which is ugh.
Yeah, plus it's also keep in mind that with a Mac, well, first of all, if you have an iPhone, there's a billion, especially with iOS 8 and the new version of Mac, like there's a billion different reasons why you want an iPhone and a Mac. Because just for example, like it's crazy how they're doing it, is right now, like iMessages, like if Bronson were to text me, he has an iPhone, he texts me, I could respond to him on my MacBook. I get the text on my MacBook at the same time I get it on my phone. If I'm on my computer, I don't even have to touch my phone and I can respond to him. But with this new version, it's also going to work with standard SMS text messages. So anyone texts me, if I'm using my computer, I don't even have to look at my phone. I can respond to someone.
Okay, that's the transition to the iPhone 6. Now,
Well, no. That's just iOS 8. You don't have to have an iPhone.
I want to talk about iPhone 6 now. Let's get over to this.
Well, no, hold up. Well, yeah, let's finish this off real quick though. You have that, which is a huge advantage for me because obviously I own an iPhone, so I think that's pretty massive. Like Anthony said, the build quality alone, and then you also got to remember because Macs. The thing with a Mac is they limit you as far as customization. Like yes, you can upgrade the RAM, but as far as processor and graphics cards, you can't really customize it.
I think that's another reason
the
why.
advantage to that is that when Apple's designing their Mac OS, they know what hardware is using it.
Oh,
Whereas
I know.
PC, Windows doesn't know. There's a million different processors, there's a million different configurations, endless
I am
possibilities.
just saying that if
So
you are
the operating system, if you were to take a PC and a Mac, let's say they have the exact same specs, a PC and a Mac, it's going to run a hell of a lot smoother on Mac's operating system because it's optimized for the hardware as well. So yes, you could have lesser hardware in the hardware in your Mac may not be as good as a PC, but it'll function and run a lot faster simply because the operating system's optimized for the hardware in your unit.
I was just about to say that's a disadvantage as from the gaming realm goes because
from the gaming realm, absolutely.
Because if you have a Mac Pro and you want to upgrade your graphics card, you got to buy a new Mac Pro. If you have a
well, with Mac, it's not with the Mac Pro you can upgrade it, but essentially what happens is Apple in another year or two will release a video card upgrade, and you have to buy their specific upgrade or whatever.
Well, so exactly. Versus Anthony owns a PC, and I'm probably gonna finally build a desktop in the next year or two. Basically, whenever this thing starts not running games well, which I'm going to say it's another year or two off, because new games come out and it just annihilates them. But
gee, you're complaining that about your laptop? Freaking my desktop has a freaking 3-year-old mid-range graphics card, and my laptop doesn't even have a graphics chip that's even that fast.
No, I am saying that when that happens, because it will happen eventually. I'll build a desktop, and we have a friend, Alex, or Theo, as some people know him, and that dude upgrades his graphics card like every year. He's just one of those people who needs to have the latest and greatest of all tech. He always has the newest Android or iPhone. Dude is always up on his tech. Which is great, because that means you can poach your graphics cards from him for nothing. Or not nothing, but at a really reduced rate. So, when I build that PC, it's like, oh, Theo, you're upgrading to the 880 or whatever. Can I have your 780 for, half off? Yes? Okay, thank you. That's an advantage. You have the advantage of just more options. I feel as though if you are planning to play PC games or games on a computer, you absolutely, you absolutely should be, building a PC and not on a Mac.
Well, absolutely. I agree with you there.
For everything else, yes, get a fucking Mac.
Everything else besides gaming, Mac.
Well,
video
here's
editing,
the thing too, is that
school, whatever it is, Mac.
I mean, I'm trying to come up with a really good analogy for this as best as I can. The best analogy I could think of on the fly is You can have a super nice top of the line Toyota sedan for about $38,000. And then there's the Lexus. The Toyota can be
Wait, you said a Toyota sedan for 38?
38
what Toyota
grand,
are you
like
talking about?
the top of the line Avalon, which is like their biggest car that they sell in the US.
Okay.
Leather, navigation. Kind of feels like a Lexus in all but name. But then there's the Lexus. Like, it's like that's sometimes how I feel a little bit about when people talk about PCs and Macs. Granted, I've never owned a Mac, but from the way people talk about it, yes. The $38,000 Toyota Avalon with leather and navigation and all these safety features can, offer you almost as much as a Lexus for quite a lot less money. But then, from a spec sheet perspective, just reading off spec sheets and numbers, and then there's the Lexus, where you're talking about much higher levels of build quality and detailing to it, which I kind of feel like that's probably why people pay a lot more for a Mac, even though on a spec sheet level they don't really look that good. I guess that's the best analogy I could think of. And you can get PCs. I think $1,300 can buy you a lot of PCs. Aside from the from the somewhat broken speaker on my laptop, I think it's built quite well. I think it looks very good. I don't see any glaring cheapness with it, and it runs amazingly fast, boots up amazingly fast. Just honestly, I could have been really happy with it. Obviously, if everything worked. But so you can get yourself a really nice $1,300 laptop, but I feel like the Mac, $600 more. From a spec sheet perspective, you're probably not going to find much. Which, yes, that's true. But then again, why would you buy? I mean, you could just buy a fully loaded Honda or Toyota or Chevy, which has as many features as the BMW. But why do you still buy the BMW? Why do people still buy it then? If it has less features than, I don't know, a cheaper brand name, I guess. I think that's the analogy. I hope that analogy works.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. But yeah, so we'll talk about, I know this is a gaming podcast. I know you guys are probably like, what the fuck? Destiny just came out. You guys are talking about iPhones. Well,
it's only the day after.
Yeah, we haven't had much time, but do not worry. We'll be releasing a spoiler cast for Destiny sometime next week. So
and 60-minute access. That's happening as well.
So
we're going to need to figure out a way to do that. Because for all I know, we could all sit at home and do 60-minute access, just one of us films it.
Oh god, that'd be so nice.
It's like we play it cooperatively instead of just viewing a beta view of it. Because the beta was basically you playing by yourself,
idea.
Whereas with the Destiny, since there's like freaking 4 of us having it, we could all sit down on one day and film it all and have a TeamSpeak audio just be an overlay.
Yeah, you could record at your house, and we could all go do the audio on TeamSpeak.
This is the joy of cooperative games: is I don't have to drive over to your place.
Yeah,
I could just sit at home. I could just sit at home and eat while we play through Destiny together. Hey, Nick can join in too.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to see. We'll have to get the schedule aligned for that. But yes, do not worry. We'll have a spoiler cast. We're going to do 60-minute access. We're going to have the Destiny coverage for you guys. We just want to make sure that we're very in-depth and thorough with it. So,
honestly, at this point, we just need someone to do an audio, and then we can just get a video review done, too.
Yeah. So, cool. Let's go ahead and talk about the iPhone 6. So, Apple held their biggest event of the year, regardless of what you say. Yes, they have their MacBook event. They have WWDC. They have their iPads, but most of Apple's money comes from the iPhone. So they announced the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, which is a 4.7-inch and a 5.5-inch. The Plus is a 5.5-inch. I will personally be pre-orders open on the 12th, coming available on the 19th. As always, because I'm just an iPhone freak, I always have to have the latest iPhone. I'll be pre-order at the 5S. I've had every iPhone since the 4S. I'll put it that way. And the only reason why it took me that long to jump on the iPhone bandwagon is because I have Sprint, and the 4S was the first iPhone to become available on Sprint. So since the iPhone has hit Sprint, I've had every single iPhone model. And once again, I will be getting the iPhone 6. I won't be getting the Plus because 5.5 inches is just way too big for me. However, for example, like my mom's getting the 5.5 inch because the thing about it is when you're a woman, you carry a purse and you can keep your phone in your purse. Us guys put our phones in our pockets, and 5.5 inches is like carrying a Pop-Tart in your pocket. It's way too big.
Hey man, did you ever carry Pop-Tarts in your pot? No, I'm kidding. I
will be pre-ordering the 4.7 inch, and I'll begin at day one because they're starting pre-orders. And if you pre-order in time, which I'll be stamped to midnight to pre-order, I'll be getting it.
I'm so glad I'm not working at AT&T right now.
Yeah, they're a little bit. The phones are a little bit thinner. Which I went on this rant before, so I'm not going to go on it again, but very frustrating because the battery life isn't that much better than the 5S, but if they kept the same thickness, it'd probably be like 40% better, but nope, they always have to announce a thinner phone. It's like the 5S is slim and thin enough, but so there's that. What's new with it? It's running the A8 chip. Kind of surprised me it's not as powerful as I would. Usually when they announce an iPhone, they say twice the speed. So the A8 chip for CPU processing, it's up to 25% faster. GPU's up to 50% faster. So it's still a pretty big jump, just not as big as usually is. And
actually, that's actually a very common thing that's happening a lot in the computing industry because like computers in general, back in like 1997, 98, the difference between a 1997 Pentium 2 and a 2001 Pentium 4 was like this colossal leap that was just ridiculous. Whereas today, whenever Intel comes up with a new generation processor, it's like a 10% bump. Same thing with graphics card too. It's like nowadays tech just doesn't seem to have these monumental 2 times, 3 time leaps like they used to.
Well, yeah, plus the other thing is that with the 5S, they just made a huge jump. They jumped up to a 64-bit processor for a freaking phone. Like, that's crazy. Plus they're powering larger screens now, so the fact that they're powering larger screens and still getting a pretty good performance boost is pretty nice. So yeah, there's that. There's new configurations, which thank God they're finally coming out with a 128 gigabyte iPhone, which I'll definitely be getting.
There's one part of this, like everything that they announced about this, I was just like, don't care. I'm sticking with my 5S. I'll wait for the one after this, the 7 or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it.
It'll be the 6S.
Yeah, the 6S, which would be funny because I went from 3GS to 4S to 5S.
What are you going to talk about? Apple Pay?
Yes, dear God,
Apple Pay is awesome.
When I heard about that, I was like, this has made me the happiest man ever. I was going to buy, like, I'm not going to buy a new phone just for that, especially because I still am paying this one off. Like, I'd have to pay this off and pay for the new one, but dear God, the fact that like I don't have to carry my debit card, I don't have to carry anything but an ID on my phone with me now. That's fucking amazing.
So Apple Pay is like that Google Wallet.
Well, no,
thingy,
it's a lot
right?
better. It's a lot better. So essentially, how this works is, have you seen those debit and credit cards that have like the NFC chips in them that you can like just swipe your phone by the thing? Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's what Google does, right?
Yes. Well, no. Explain here. So essentially, what Apple's enabling with Apple Pay is, and this is something that Android's going to have to find something really quick to compete with this, because here's the thing. With Android, you have a million different phones, a million different versions of operating systems. With Apple, you don't have that problem. But essentially, what's going to happen is through your Apple phone, you can store your credit cards. Visa, MasterCard, and American Express will be supported day one. Now, part of you would be like, I'm not storing my credit card on my phone. What if someone steals my card? Apple has invented this very secure technology where when you put your card into your phone, it does not store your card number, does not store your security code, doesn't even store your name. What it does is it goes through an authentication process, verifies that the card is yours, which they haven't detailed how that works, but it verifies the card is yours. And what it does is it creates a unique ID for that code, for that card. That unique ID is created by Apple, and it's associated with your credit card number, but if you have that ID, you would not know it's just a random number generated. So essentially, over 220,000 different stores already support it because it just uses that exact same thing that you can swipe your NFC card by. And what you can do is you just swipe your phone up, and then what it does is it uses Touch ID, so it scans your fingerprint to verify that it's you, and the cashier doesn't even get your name, they don't get your card number, they don't even get the security answer of your card. It's just all processed. Apple doesn't store any of the information as far as where you're purchasing, how much you're purchasing, all that's between you and the retailer, and it's all done through seriously just swiping your phone, it scans your finger, and the purchase is done. That simple. They're supporting Visa, American Express, and MasterCard day one, and
I have my debit card is with Visa, my actual credit card is with MasterCard. I love this. I love the fact that I'm going to have to get one of those, like it's going to be one of those wallet cases for my phone. Just keep my ID in it now. That's fantastic.
And what's also awesome is this can be used for purchases online. So you're like, how does this work online? So what they're going to start doing is through various retailers such as Target they showed, is you go to Target, and when you go to check out, there'll be an Apple Pay button. You press the Apple Pay button, and it asks you to scan your fingerprint. You scan your fingerprint, the purchase is done. That simple. Once again, Apple has, and this is the thing, Apple is never the first to do anything. When they do it, they perfect it, and they change the market. Starting with the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus, the payment system will never be the same again. Because you already know that every iPhone always beats its previous record. They sell millions and millions of it day one. So the whole payment processing business is literally changing overnight. So yeah, Apple Pay is fucking awesome.
I mean,
really, like give an example, like McDonald's. You go to McDonald's, you're going through a drive-through. No giving them your debit card. You swipe your phone by their thing, it scans your fingerprint, purchase is done. That simple. Now also, will store your rewards cards. It will store all of that within your phone. So it literally takes away the need of a wallet. Pretty awesome.
Oh my god, I love this. First off, I hate carrying cash. I always have, I always will.
Oh, I hate cash. I don't carry cash. If I have like $30, $40 in my pocket, I just put it into an ATM and put it in my account. I hate carrying cash.
Yeah, same. Like, cash, no thank you. So, you know, this whole like future of where all we have are phones with us at all times that take care of music, camera, and now my fucking money. This is fantastic. I love this. Anthony, we are living in the fucking future. We just need
We're
flying
also the
cars.
last ones. We're also the last ones to know of the past.
Yes.
Like you think about it. For our generation, we're like the last ones to know what a video game cartridge is, what a VHS tape is, what a Walkman is, what a cassette tape is, what those old Sony Walkmans are. It's like, oh my goodness. We're the last ones to know what stick shifts probably were like in mainstream automotive.
I mean, just
it's weird.
It's weird.
It's like we were born right when technology just like swarmed in and took over everything.
Like
Wonderful.
people can hate on Apple all they want. Like if you prefer Android, fine, prefer Android. But there is no debating that when Apple does something, they change the market. iPod changed the music industry, not just MP3 players. It changed the music industry. iPods is what caused music to go digital. Yes, there are people that still go buy CDs. But most people buy it on iTunes. Or for me, for example, I haven't bought music in forever because I just pay $10 a month for Spotify, and I can download everything straight from Spotify onto my phone for free with that $10 a month subscription. So they changed the whole music industry. They revolutionized the phone industry. They revolutionized the tablet industry because tablets never got big until the iPad came out. Apple's now changing the payment processing. Payment processing will never be the same as Apple Pay. And then we won't go into it too much, but what Apple's doing with the iWatch, like, yes, most people like me, for example, it doesn't really interest me, but what they're doing with iWatch is unbelievable. To give you an example, Apple Pay is supported by iWatch, so you don't even have to pull your phone out. You just move your wrist by the thing, and you just pay through it through your iWatch. Now your question may be like, well, how does that work? Because it doesn't have Touch ID. Check this out. So the first time you put your iWatch in, you enter your passcode or whatever. And guess what? It stores that password, so you can make as many purchases as you want as long as it's connected to your skin. As soon as it's taken off your wrist, then the passcode has to be entered again for payment processing. So that if someone were to take your iWatch, well, guess what? The passcode's now reset because it was removed from the skin of your wrist.
This sounds like
crazy.
This sounds like stuff from Sci-Fi or the Jetsons.
it's
kind of
crazy.
It's like really cool, and at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I really need to read on this because this sounds like some bizarre future that I am not really ready to believe yet.
I mean, I know so many people who just hate on fucking iPhones, and I'm just like,
well, here's the thing: if you prefer Android. That's fine. Android has its benefits, but you have to admit that Android wouldn't be anywhere near where it's at right now if it weren't for the iPhone.
I mean, not only that, but I listen to these people bitch about it. I'm like, why are you mad? Like, okay, they're getting features that you got forever ago. Why are you butthurt about this?
They're perfected, though. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Guess what? Yeah, I could have bought a whatever the first tablets were, but no, I'd rather get the iPad. Oh yeah, I could have went for Android's NFC technology when it was very few retailers use it, and doesn't work as well, and you have to worry about your information being stolen. No, I'd personally rather wait a couple years until Apple perfects it, which they did with Apple Pay. I mean, it's just that's the thing. Like, Apple will never be the first to anything ever. They take the same business approach. They see what everyone does. They figure out the issues with it. They see what people like, they don't like, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this right. They take a couple years, they perfect it, and then they kick everyone's ass. That's just how Apple operates. They've done that on everything. They weren't the first phone. They weren't the first tablet. They weren't the first to offer payment processing from the phone. They're not the first watch. They weren't the first MP3 player. They weren't the first. I mean, they weren't the first with anything. It's just that's what they do. They see what everyone does and they perfect it.
There's a quote, like, you're right about Apple in the music industry. I mean, the only time I buy a physical copy of a CD is if I just love that fucking album. Like, for instance, the Proto Man, I buy their CDs. Like Weezer, I will buy their CDs. But, like, very, very, very few bands am I going to be like, I'm going to go buy their CD. And, people are pirating music way, way harder before iTunes. And there was an argument made against piracy.
People use LimeWire and Napster back when it was illegal.
There's this quote: "The strongest way to fight against piracy is to have a business model that it makes sense and is easy to use and easy to understand. The more restrictions that you throw up on files and videos, all you're doing is inspiring people to throw up double middle fingers and say, I can click 4 buttons and get over here for free. You have to be easier and more convenient than free. You have to compete with free. And that's the market we live in."
And you quoted that from?
Jeff Gerstmann. And it's true because, like, I largely don't pirate music unless I am just super beyond broke. And here's why.
Well, even then, Bronson, it's called Spotify. It's $10 a month, and you can get all the music you could want.
Okay, but, like, I actually like to own my music, or own in quotes.
I mean, well, yeah. Well, it's not. You're not owning it anymore. I mean, you're paying $10 a month, and you got it stored locally on your phone. It's pretty much the exact same thing.
Okay, well, still, like, I mean, why would I take the time to go on a torrent site, find a good torrent that is still working and seeding and all that good shit, download it, make sure it's not a virus, and then load it onto my phone versus oh, the new Weezer album's out and it's $11. Click. Done. You know, like that. Like, same thing with Steam. Like, you want to some people do not pirate PC games. You know, way less than. If you're Call of Duty, people pirate you, but you don't see Gone Home getting pirated. You largely don't see The Witcher getting pirated. Why? Because Steam runs sales like all the time, constantly, and it's like, buy. Are you
Steam
sure?
is
Yes.
Steam is so easy.
Done.
It's like, buy. Did you save your credit card information with us? Yes. Okay, you're set. Download now. And then you just wait for it to download, install, and then you don't even wait for it to install. It just downloads and it's ready to run right on the spot. And then you're like, sweet.
You need to be cheap and convenient. And so many fucking companies don't get this. And that's actually kind of something that Apple understands as far as the convenience part goes. And even Apple's, apps and programs and their media, it's as cheap as most companies.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, though. When you talk about phones, Apple isn't more expensive than its competitor when it comes to the phones.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like with the phone, it's like, are you willing to pay $100 for? I think it's 100, right?
It's the 100 for whatever
for the latest
last
one,
year's
right?
version was. No, the latest, the brand new
They
ones
always
are 200.
they always go $199, $299, $399. So, for example, with these iPhones, which I think it's stupid, they have a 16 gigabyte still. That's just there shouldn't be 16 gigabyte phones anymore.
I have a 16 gig phone and it's enough, but I'm an exception, I think.
But they're doing 16 instead of 32. They're going up to 64 and then 128. So if you go 4.7 inch, 16 gig, $199, 64, $299, 128, $399. I'm getting the 128. That's gonna be freaking awesome. And then with the iPhone 6 Plus, which is the larger screen, it's $100 more. So it's $299, $399, $499, obviously for the larger screen.
Speaking of larger screens, if there's something I really don't enjoy about the Android line of phones, why are they having a contest of who can have a bigger phone screen? It's getting to it's not just the fact that we're gonna make the phone ridiculously huge, but whenever they come out with the mini version of it, which is the ones I usually look at because I want these things to fit in my pocket, they usually decontent the phone, like the LG G2. I have the standard run G2, which is about as big as I'm ever going to accept a phone to be that goes in my pocket. And then they came up with the G2 Mini, which wasn't really a G2 at all. It was actually one of their cheaper phones wrapped in a G2 look. And that was oh my goodness. And then there's the G3, which is this colossal thing. They say that's got a quad HD screen or something like that. And I look at it and I'm like, that thing is too big. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was worried about with, and gladly there's only one difference, is I was worried about with the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, I was worried that with the 5.5 inch, they were going to announce some crazy new features for the 5.5 inch that the 4.7 didn't have, and that upset me because I want the same features. The phone's too big for me. But thankfully, the only difference is that it has optical image stabilization, which is obvious because the 5.5 inch, the actual camera lens is able to move around, which is crazy. But obviously, that's because there's more space to do that, and that's fine. Go ahead and do that as long as the other features are the same. The only other difference is obviously I think it's 401 or 402 pixels per inch instead of 326, which obviously that makes sense because it's a larger screen. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty much the exact same phone, which I'm glad Apple did because they're smart and they know that, hey, people want to get the iPhone 6 and get all the latest features, but hey, 5.5 inches is too big for some people. The current iPhone 5S is 4 inches. It's a good size, but I think I'd want a little bit bigger. The Galaxy S phones are nice. Those are exactly 5 inches. But I think those are just a tad bit too big. So 4.7 inches just seems like the exact... That's perfect for me. I cannot wait.
Me, personally, I don't like having a big phone, and I don't watch a shit ton of video on my phone. I'm not that person who's going to the only exception to this is that week I didn't have internet last year where I was like, well, fuck, I want to watch Netflix. Well, this is better than nothing. That's the exception to the rule. Now, as far as the giant ass phone goes, I feel as if you are like my mother, where you have trouble seeing on your phone. that could be advantageous. If you are a female and have a purse, great. I think of let's just say 7 inches. It's fucking 7-inch phone. That's what it is. Okay,
It's not the 7 inches would be ridiculous. It's not that big. It's pretty much.
It's 6.7. That's what I
No,
read.
it's 5. No, it's 5.5.
Okay. Okay. Well, even then.
Yeah, it's 5.5. It's pretty much the Galaxy Note.
Okay.
Much.
Well, I've seen the Galaxy Note. My friend Tyler has one, and I worked on them at AT&T. Those things are fucking gigantic. Those things, like, to put this in perspective for everyone, the iPhone 6 Plus is slightly larger than a 3DS XL. So, holy shit. Like,
But
I can carry that in my back pocket, maybe. I cannot, most definitely not carry it in my front pocket, and if I can't carry anything else with it. This thing is fucking gigantic. I don't get the need for gigantic phones.
I get the need for a little bit larger screen. Like I said, I think 4.7 inches is fine. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And, like, because there's a point where I go, fuck this, I'm going to buy a tablet.
Yeah, and that's why I think like I said, I could see a market for the 5.5 inch, and it's for women. Because they carry purses. They don't have to worry about fitting it into their pocket.
To be fair, I have friends who are females who have very small purses who are probably not super stoked on this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not women,
I honestly look at those, like, I look at those megaphones. Megaphones.
The Mega. That's what.
Yeah, it's
that's
funny
the
with
name
phones.
of one of them. The
Phones,
Mega.
it was about how bulky they were, and then we wanted to see how small we could get, and now we're just going reverse and, like, seeing how big we can get.
Like, fucking remember when the Razr came out, and it was
that was my very first cell phone ever, was the Motorola Razr.
Wow,
that thing was awesome.
Nick, thank you for making me feel fucking ancient now. Thanks, because
I remember my family's first cell phone, and we only had one cell phone. Like, this is back when, like, a household had a normal home-line phone and one cell phone. And these things were, like, big enough to be, like, handset receivers.
That's
basically what they were.
Like,
and you dialed them like handset receivers, and you pushed talk like handset receivers, and maybe they had a contact list of maybe about 10 people at best.
That's why I think it's funny when people, like, when you, like, call a company and they ask for a home phone, you're like, I don't have a home phone, it's just my cell phone number. Like, well, do you have another phone number? It's like, are you really asking me that? Like, are you really surprised that I don't have a home phone? Like, is that really a thing anymore?
You'd be surprised if someone
like when I got my internet set up, they're like, oh, you can have the phone, it's only $10 a month. I'm like, even if it was free, I don't want. Even if it was free, I wouldn't want it. Like, what am I gonna do with a home phone? I got a cell phone.
If it was free, I would take it.
Because, I want it.
No, because then it's like, okay, well, this is here, like that. It's like, if this is here in case of emergency or whatever, like, okay, fine. Or like, or if you have someone house sitting and they don't have a cell phone, or you're without a cell phone for a temporary amount of time. Like, you gotta remember, there was that whole, like, when I moved over to the 5S, I had to wait for it to get here. So I had, like, a whole week where I didn't have a cell phone. So, there's situations like that, but, like, only if it was free. Because otherwise, fuck it, you can get a hold of me on Facebook. Or fucking Twitter, or
Skype,
Skype, or any of these gaming networks I'm on. Like, I am one of the easiest people to contact on the planet. If you cannot get in contact with me, it's because I don't want to be contacted, I'm at work, or I'm dying in a ditch somewhere. Like that's what's going on. So, I mean, like, I looked at these phones, these really big ones, though, and I'm like, at a point, I just say, fuck it and get a tablet, like we were talking about earlier. And, these 5.5, like, the Plus I get if you have a purse, or you wear hammer pants, or, like, that's as big as it gets for me. These fucking people who are, like, it's practically a miniature tablet. It's practically an iPad mini, and I'm just like, why?
They call them phablets.
No, these are stupid. These are dumb.
The name itself sounds dumb. Phablets. Phablets.
The phablet. No, I remember our first cell phone.
That sounds
my
like
mom
a
and my
fad.
dad.
Like that's what the now that just sounds like the word fad now.
No, I remember my first cell phone. I got it when I was 12, about to turn 13. I got it when I was 12, and my parents had the Nokia brick, and I got a Nokia brick also because I was like I used to be a real homebody, and I would start going to Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and being more social. So they got me a phone so they could keep in contact with me instead of me spending a shit ton of money at payphones. It was cheaper to add me to a family plan than it was the amount I was spending at payphones. So they're like, okay, well, this makes sense. Then we went to a slightly smaller brick, these like small silver phones, to the Razor, and I had the Razor through most of high school until the summer before my senior year, when the AT&T decided to up the bill. My mom decided to give them double middle fingers and go to Cricket, which was a terrible idea because Cricket's cell phone service is garbage. But not only that, I jumped in a pool with the phone on accident. Funny story. My friend Mitch and I, we'd been up all night, and then we pass out for like 3 hours. And I wake up and I'm like, "Yo, dude, let's go swimming," because my apartment complex had a pool, and I totally forgot I had it in my pocket.
Boom.
Yeah. Then after that, got another Cricket phone. Then just did not have a cell phone for a year and a half. Just didn't have one. I just borrowed them from other people if I needed to call someone. And then for Christmas, my mom's like, "Yo, I want to get us new cell phones, those smartphones. What would be a good smartphone for me?" Note, this is 2010, so think of 2010 smartphones. Christmas 2010. I saw two roads in front of me. The road of trying to explain 2010 Android to my mother.
Yeah, Android back then was quite primitive.
The road of the iPhone. And at the time, I fucking hated Apple, so I begrudgingly got the iPhone. And at the same time, I started college, and because I had to work on Macs, because I don't know why, but when you go to a journalism school, they insist you work on Macs.
Macs is the preferred, and to a lot of people, only platform that you can ever edit a video on, bar none. Which to me is like, okay.
Well, that's great.
It's like you and your i5 processing, go edit that Premiere Pro video.
So I started to become better acquainted with Macs, and got a 3GS, and I was going to get a 4 with my upgrade period, but my 3GS died, and I didn't have the money, so I got another 3GS, and then I had to wait a whole another year. And dear God, did the 3GS just become a slow piece of crap in that time? Like, oh my God, over the course of that year of 2012, that phone made me curse and swear. It would drop calls, it would drop apps. It just was not powerful enough to keep up with current life 2 years later. And then I went to a 4S, and it was just like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. And actually, going from the 4S to the 5S wasn't the world's biggest jump. I wasn't disappointed, but I was like, this is nice. But so I'm hoping that waiting until like June 2016 for my next phone, I am going to be just so impressed by what is there. I don't know. Like I this last time I nearly considered jumping off the Apple train. I was very close to pulling the trigger on one of those Windows phones, the Lumias, the Nokia Lumias.
I think you would have been disappointed.
I was super close. The thing that stopped me was laziness. And you're like, what do you mean? The amount of work that would take to move all my shit from the iPhone and Apple.
Let me ask you, what of Windows Phone would have you want to switch to Windows Phone?
Mainly a couple things. It was the camera, because the cameras on those Lumias are goddamn amazing. The battery life was more impressive than the iPhone. They're bigger phones, but still. And I really like that I fucking hate it in Windows 8 and on the Xbox, but on tablets like Brennan's Surface or on a Windows phone, I really like that Metro interface. So there was that. And then I looked at all the apps I use, and I'm like, and outside of the WoW Armory, the Blizzard Authenticator, and Rooster Teeth, all of this shit's on a Windows phone. The thing that stopped me, like I said, was moving all my shit over. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not sure what would get me to move to Android. I don't think anything will ever get me to move to Android.
I'd move to Android before I moved to Windows Phone.
I think part of it was just my experience.
I wouldn't go with any other phone but the Galaxy S phones, but
if I had to go to Android, after working at AT&T,
honestly, like I have some family who own a Samsung, and would you like your data connection to stop working completely, just randomly? Yeah, that would cripple you, I imagine. So don't. Yeah, Samsung.
Boy, I'm sticking to iPhone. There's no question.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you ever go to Android, you may want to keep that in mind because the Galaxy. I don't know about the S5s now, but the S4s. Two phones, like in my family, within like a month of each other, just randomly, just flat out refuses to connect to any data connection. They have to go and reactivate their phones to get it fixed again. And the LG, like, and here's the thing, it just avoid Samsung for now, I guess. LG, I think, is a little better with it. I don't have any problems with mine so far.
So this is my experience of working at AT&T. The Samsung Galaxy S series phones break all the fucking time, and I never buy one. The Notes, if I wanted a phone that huge, I would definitely consider it. And LGs are great; they never fucking break. They're fantastic. And HTCs are kind of 50-50. Whenever I got an iPhone call, it was either one or two things. Either they were really, really stupid, and it was something simple, or this phone is fucked beyond all belief, and I need to get them to Apple.
Well, whenever you point that out, the Samsung Galaxy S is like the most common type of Android phone out there, like ridiculously popular type of phone, whereas LG is not exactly a big seller.
No,
and neither is HTC. Like, freaking, like, how many people, like, the G2, it's kind of like the small, it's kind of like that kind of phone that people
don't really... phones are like, that's like the Android phone.
Yeah, like, if you want an Android phone, that is like one of the big names, and a lot of people go for it, whereas LG is kind of like one of those smaller little names that people never really look at. Same with Motorola, same with HTC. Yeah, there's like Samsung, and then there's like everyone else.
No, I mean, like I said, I probably won't. I'm not switching to a fucking Android A type set. Like I said, if I were to make the switch, it'd be to a Windows phone. Because man, you want to talk about phones that don't have issues. I think in my entire time working at AT&T, I got 2 Lumia calls, and the whole process was, okay, we're gonna have to reset your phone, and it fixed the problem both times.
Outside of with I've never ever had an issue with iPhone except for, like I said, most recently my home button went out on me. But guess what? Apple. I contacted Apple. They overnighted one to me. It was there the next day. They overnighted it to me. I sent them back. All good. It's that simple. That's the other thing. Like, you go with the Android phone and you have a problem with your phone. Have fun going through either your carrier or the manufacturer. Whereas if you get an iPhone, it doesn't matter what carrier it's on. It doesn't matter where you bought it from. If it's an iPhone, Apple will support it. And they will get you taken care of super fast.
Yeah, see, that was first off, BlackBerry can go fuck itself. Let me tell you about that right now.
But here's the thing, is BlackBerry even relevant?
BlackBerry is not relevant anymore.
Okay, yes, they're not relevant anymore, but I am telling you right now, there are people who still insist on owning them and love them, and anytime I got a BlackBerry call...
those people are mainly business people. For example, my dad's work phone's a BlackBerry, not by choice, but that's what they give them.
Anytime I get a call, I got a call for a BlackBerry, I died a little on the inside.
I just see Bronson now. What phone do you have? I have the BlackBerry Q267M.
No, okay,
and then Bronson just sits there like, fuck my life. Can they lose signal real quick?
First off, I can see what phone you're calling me on if you're calling me on one of the phones on your account. So if you're calling me from Anna would give me the model too. So if I saw Apple, iPhone, blah blah blah, I was like, fuck yes. If I saw Samsung or an Android phone, I'd be like, okay, annoying, but whatever. If I saw BlackBerry, I was like, fuck. And
remember the BlackBerry Storm? Their attempt at BlackBerry's going for iPhone with the BlackBerry Storm. That phone was so awful.
I remember that BlackBerry. The thing about BlackBerry with tech support is almost every single BlackBerry call I got was at least an hour long. At least. Required me to do a shit ton of research. And then usually it would involve me with transferring them to BlackBerry support, who would be lazy and not want to do their jobs and try and get them over to me. And then they would just ping this person back and forth. And, there are some people who just really fucking love their BlackBerry. And a lot of the times we can't replace them because they're older. So we try and give them a fucking Samsung. And they're like, fucking no! I want my fucking BlackBerry. And I'm like, why?
That sounds like they're losing their child or something.
Yeah, I don't get it. Apple's
it's like the only thing I could see about a BlackBerry is that it has or at least those really old ones, they have physical keyboards, which
Yeah, but they got Android phones with physical keyboards too.
They do?
Yeah.
Because my first cell phone,
they may not be as nice. I will say, as far as phone keyboards, BlackBerry definitely has probably one of the best keyboards ever on a phone. But that and way back, this was my last smartphone before going to iPhone, the Palm Pre, which WebOS was a good ass operating system. It's just that fucking Palm fucked it up big time, and then when HP tried to buy them, when they did buy them, it just didn't work out. Palm Pre was a great phone. It's just that WebOS didn't get the support it needed.
So
I forgot Palm existed.
Well, not anymore. They don't.
I know they don't exist anymore, but I remember back then it was a big deal that HP bought it, and then they tried to come out with a phone, and then it just completely just crashed from there. Now Palm doesn't exist.
Remember having a PDA back in the day was
freaking Palm was known for PDAs in the late 90s.
Yeah.
They were known in the early 2000s. I remember Quinn's uncle had one. I forgot what he did, but he was very important for whatever company he works for. So he had a Windows PDA. It was the weirdest.
That ran Windows CE, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I remember. What are those things called? My dad used to have one on his belt all the time for work.
A pager.
A pager. Yeah,
that was way back before cell phones. What happens was I still don't know how pages specifically work.
So a little bit of insight from one of my jobs. Okay, you guys know that job where I worked for those doctors' offices, basically connecting all those doctors in Reno through calls, right? You would be fucking shocked at how many doctors still use fucking pagers.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you would be fucking shocked. There are so many that still use pagers.
That's funny.
And I would just have to go into our system and say, da-da-da-da, page Dr. So-and-so at so-and-so time. It was the dumbest thing. I don't know why you wouldn't want to text message Dr. So-and-so, but, whatevs. So yeah, that was shocking. We should move on to other news. Do you guys have any stories? Because I got a couple.
I don't have any more news now.
Okay, so...
Well, the Apple fans will be happy. We gave them their coverage.
Alright, so Nintendo is putting out some more 3DS XLs. They're putting out 2 special edition ones. One of them is a Super Smash Bros. One coming out, I believe it's October 18th or 19th. And it's red with this black and white, it has all the characters from Smash on it, and it comes with the game, and I believe it's $200. The next one is one that looks like the original Nintendo controller. So
yeah, I saw that's pretty cool.
And the box looks like a Nintendo, an original Nintendo. So that's coming by itself. It's $200. Looks like original Nintendo. The final one is if you went to E3 or if you live in Japan, because I know so many of our listeners live in Japan. Not really. The Atlas did the special edition 3DS XL for Japan for Persona Q, which is that it's the Heroes from 3 and the Heroes from 4 and the Dungeon Crawler coming out later this year. They are releasing that 3DS in America on, I believe, November. I want to say it's the 20th, but I'm not sure. Oh, okay. I found a list of all of them. So what it is, it's the Velvet Room grimoire style on the front. It looks like one of the books in the Velvet Room. For those of you who have played Persona, welcome to the Velvet Room. And it's on November 25th. It's going to be limited, so if you want one, you're going to have to pre-order, and it comes with a set of Persona tarot cards and special packaging to hold both the cards and the game. The next one, going back to the Smash Brothers one, it's red. There's red and blue. Goes on sale September 19th, and the launch of the game is October 3rd. The cover features a dozen of the game's characters, and it'll be $200. And then the NES one comes out October 10th, $200, and it looks like an NES controller. So I don't get why you would buy the NES one unless you really like the way it looks, because the other two come with a game. Anthony, you like Nintendo? Thoughts?
Not the huge of a Persona fan. The Smash Brothers one is a bundle, right?
Yes, it is a bundle. It is $200, and it comes with either a red or blue 3DS XL with Smash, and it has the characters in the front.
That one's pretty awesome. And the NES one...
It's just $200, and it looks...
Honestly,
like
I'm not old enough to have fond memories of the original Nintendo.
I have fond memories of the original Nintendo because of the mall. Because I would go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, or it's because of the mall and because of my cousins. But the primary ones are, I'd go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, and these dudes would have these, like, ghetto, like, they had these, they were $100, and they had, like, 200 games on them. And it was basically just a thing that ran fucking emulators of Pokemon and all these other classic games. And one of them was Super Mario Brothers. And whenever I'd get bored in between my matches, I'd go over there and play a bunch of Mario. And the guy would get super pissed that I'd never actually buy one. Because fuck you. I'm not paying $100 to play a bunch of ROMs that you illegally downloaded and put into a plastic box. And hooked an N64 controller to. So there's that, and then I have cousins who I would play NES and Super NES games with because they own those systems. And I don't know, I really like the original Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 3. I think those games are the reasons largely why I love Mario now. I don't know. I think the Persona one is the coolest because it is actually limited edition and it looks like the book from the game. Like, that is really neat to me.
I think anything Persona is neat to you.
still, that is kind of awesome that they made the DS look like the book from the game with all the tarot cards. That is neat. I wish they would have done something similar with Smash where, like, I don't know what they could have done, but made it look like an item from Smash. I do find it cool that the NES 3DS XL, the box looks like an NES. They even have the AV ports on the side of the box. That's hilarious to me. Hey Anthony, by the way, speaking of Smash Bros. On the 3DS, one of the courses or one of the stages is Rainbow Road.
How's that gonna work?
I don't know, but like 3D Rainbow Road.
So is it like the F-Zero track in Melee but Rainbow Road? That's what I'm thinking they're probably doing.
I'm thinking that it's probably like doing drugs because you have a 3D Rainbow Road in a Smash Brothers game. That just to me sounds like you just did a whole bunch of PCP. Like that's just like, whoa, all the colors, shit's flying out of the screen. You know, dragons, holy shit. I don't know, I think all three of these bundles are really neat. It's just that new 3DS is coming out soon, so I think they're trying to clear stock. That's what I think is happening.
Well, this isn't necessarily clearing stock if they're having to build special editions and...
Well, all they have to do is paint them. So, I mean, they could...
Well, yeah, I guess if they already had a lot... Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, like, and they probably do have a bunch of stock, so they're probably just be like, yeah, motherfucker, paint them and send them out. No, well, like that's what it sounds like to me. Either way, the new one's coming out next year. I don't know. I'm not like I was really thinking about an XL for Smash, and if they did not announce that,
You have to have an XL. Even an XL with Smash is too small.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and I have a regular DS, 3DS. It's oh boy, that's gonna be fun.
So, like, and I said I would buy an XL whenever the next PAX we go to is. So if it's South in January, which is very doubtful, East in March, which is likely, or PAX Prime next year, which is very likely. Whatever PAX is the next one I either attend as press or as an attendee, I'll buy an XL then. Now I'm just gonna wait for the new XL because it'll do some extra stuff. That said, these bundles would be tempting if they didn't announce that stuff. I mean, I'm glad they did, or else I'd be really pissed next year. But, like, I mean, I would have probably pulled the trigger on that Persona one, because I'm going to get Persona Q anyway. And if I didn't, I would have pulled it on the other one. Okay, so last two pieces of news here. The first one is, Microsoft and participating retailers are making the Xbox One more appealing with a free game. GameStop, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Amazon, and Toys R Us, and this will run until September 13th. If you buy any version of the Xbox One, Connect, no Connect, Madden bundle, Call of Duty bundle, Titanfall bundle, or the Forza bundle, you can pick any game that it comes on a disc for the Xbox One to have for
I wonder
free.
I wonder why Microsoft did this to combat the Destiny bundle with PlayStation 4. That's what everyone's doing.
Considering
Xbox
that
One and getting Destiny for free, that's what they're doing.
Considering that the PS4 is outselling the Xbox One like 2-1. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they have to do something.
All right, still you can get any.
That's a hell of a
game.
deal. Freaking $3.99. You get an Xbox One and Madden, and you get Destiny for free for $3.99.
Or you could get Titanfall and Destiny, or you could get Forza and Destiny, or you could get that's the three they've done so far. Like, that's a fucking amazing deal. And if you don't want to play Destiny, because I know there are some people who don't. I mean, like, Diablo just came out. Titanfall is brand new, so you get Forza and Titanfall. You get Madden and Titanfall. You get just... This is a really fucking good deal. Like,
the funny and kind of sad thing about this, though, is we still know that the PlayStation 4 is going to sell more this month because Destiny's pretty much marketed as a PlayStation exclusive. Freaking every commercial, the ultimate experience, only on PlayStation.
Oh, exactly.
It's like I was watching football, and it's like this past Sunday, and it's like Destiny commercial, Destiny commercial, Destiny commercial. You go anywhere on the internet, Destiny commercial. You go to YouTube, Destiny commercial. Like that $500 million is definitely being put to work.
I'll say this: Madden has been like, I think Madden will help Xbox One a little bit just because that's being marketed as an Xbox One game.
Yeah, but here's the difference, though. With Madden, everyone knows, like, if you aren't even in the game, you know Madden's not going to be exclusive to a console. Destiny, though, if you're not into gaming, you would think Destiny's a PlayStation exclusive. Because they say ultimate experience only on PlayStation. So
that is
here's
not
the thing.
necessarily...
They keep themselves out of legal trouble because they say ultimate experience. But saying only on PlayStation can kind of throw things off a little bit with people.
So here's the thing, though. That's not always true because moms, old parents, like, they know Madden, and if they see a commercial, oh, it's on Xbox. Well, we gotta buy the new Xbox. Perfect example of this is I was at Texas Roadhouse during Labor Day weekend. My uncle was taking my mom and I out for the Labor Day weekend, and there was a birthday party right across from us where the kid, he got an Xbox One for his birthday, and Madden. And I'm thinking to myself, just like, oh yeah, well, maybe he actually wanted an Xbox over PlayStation, or maybe he just wanted to play Madden. Either way, and that's who it sells to. It's the same reason. Like, I know so many people who bought Xbox 360 because of Call of Duty 4, and Call of Duty 4 was advertised on Xbox 360. Like,
yeah, but here's the thing.
There are a lot of really
Madden's big.
people.
But with Destiny being marketed as a PlayStation 4 game versus Madden versus Xbox One, Destiny's going to do a lot more work.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
So
I definitely-
yeah, I mean, technically the best deal. I mean, freaking the Xbox One, unbelievable deal. But there's still going to sell more PlayStation 4s this month. Like, yes, they're probably going to put Microsoft's probably pushing up their numbers a lot more than it would have been. But the fact that, first of all, they have the Destiny bundle. Yes, you aren't really saving any money, but it's a Destiny bundle. People will bite on that. And then you've got the fact that, oh, Destiny on PlayStation 4. The Ultimate Experience only on PlayStation 4. It's like, people are like, this Destiny game I've been hearing about, I want it. Oh, PlayStation 4, they have a bundle? I'm going to just go get that, you know? So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the numbers. Like, I think we're going to see a huge spike in console sales this month just because of Destiny. Because I'm sure there's a ton of people that were waiting for this game to come out before upgrading. While it's on PS3 and 360, it's not advertised like it is. And, yeah, I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's a good start to the holiday season for the consoles because after September, it's October. And pretty much October, I mean, technically November is when the holiday season really starts, but October, people start Christmas shopping. So it's so crazy to think Christmas is so close.
So I think this is going to be
flown by.
I think that's going to be a good bump for Microsoft. I also think the fact that Microsoft is marketing them, you know, they're the ones behind Call of Duty. They're the ones behind that Sunset Overdrive bundle that can move. I don't think it's going to move as much as PS4. I do think that it's going to help them catch up a little bit, though. I don't know. Microsoft, this is a really great deal, and if you really want an Xbox One, now might be the time, because, I mean, you know, get Forza or Titanfall or Madden for free, and then enjoy any other game on it for free. So, I mean, you know, that Forza bundle is obviously the most popular, so, I mean, get that, and then get Destiny or Madden, Titanfall, Diablo, Dead Rising. Like that. Yeah, there's a lot of games. Alright, so IGN has been doing their top 25 of each system. The first one to come out is the Vita. We're not going to read the whole 25, but I'm going to do the top 5. Is that cool with everyone?
Wait, this is the top what?
Top 5 Vita games out so far.
Vita games? Okay.
Yeah, Vita. Alright, number 5, Guacamelee.
Okay, I can buy that in a lot of places, okay.
That's a great game, alright. Alright, number 4 is actually only a couple weeks old. It's the PSN Plus game of the month, Velocity 2X. I've been playing that game a lot recently, and I get why. I don't necessarily fully agree that it's this high, because I prefer to other games on the system, like Luminous. But yeah, that game is awesome. Okay, number 3, Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely the weakest in the Uncharted franchise, but
for a portable game, it's gorgeous. Holy crap. Number 2, Super Stardust Delta.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yep, and number 1, obviously, Persona 4 Golden. Still, it's been 2 years almost, and that's still the best game on the system. Oh god, Vita, I wish you'd get your shit together. It'd be nice.
It's not gonna happen.
I know.
Sony's going where the money's at, and that's PlayStation 4.
All right. Well, we do have a couple of questions and or comments. So, first one is from Craty. Maybe the Saints Row expansion will be in between 3 and 4, so Bronson and Nick can be at peace.
That could happen.
If it was in between, I think I might be able to handle it. But if it's on the level of Saints Row 4 again, no.
If it's slightly toned down, I'd be a little disappointed, but I'd be like, I'm still fighting Satan in the Matrix, so I can't really complain that much.
There we go. We found a solution for peace, but we can only hope the developers go for that, or else there's more problems.
All right, so was that? You guys, Destiny on Vita is legit. This could bring the platform back to life. If there was an exclusive version of Destiny for the Vita, I might agree with you.
Yeah.
But just playing it in remote play, I mean, like I said, if you're in that situation where you have roommates or a girlfriend who takes over your TV / wife / children, great. If you're, I mean, like other than that, or if like you're in one of those rare like I actually found a scenario for this, like you're home for the holidays and you really want to play a PlayStation 4 game, but you can't tap into your, your home network. Great, that's an option. And that's about it. I don't see many uses beyond that. I don't know. Like I said, I really like the Vita. Velocity X2 is a great game. I played Danganronpa 2. That's a great game. None of those games are going to sell systems. It's one of those cases where if you have one, the great games are there. There's plenty of good content for that system. But if you don't have one, there's not much to provoke you to buy one. Like that's the sad truth.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, I haven't tried the remote play. I've heard it's really cool because I've heard it's like they've actually like optimized the remote play with Destiny. But yeah, it's just that's not one of those things that would sell the Vita. The only way I could see it selling any amount of Vitas, well, obviously if they had a Vita version of Destiny and it was actually really good, yeah, I could see it doing well, and they had like the ability to where you could still use the same character as your PS3 and PlayStation 4. Yeah, I think I could see that doing very well. But it's not. So the only way I could see it doing remotely good, and Sony's not going to do this, is if they marketed that way and it's like the ultimate Destiny experience, and like show the Vita and you're like play Destiny wherever you go, blah 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 blah. If they advertise that, then I could see them selling a couple as far as an accessory goes. But it wouldn't be anything substantial, which is why Sony isn't even going to bother. Like I said, Sony has all but given up on the Vita. I mean, for the Tokyo Game Show, they gave it some attention because the Vita actually has some traction over there. But over here, they're done with the Vita.
If you want some comedy, everyone, IGN posted their 3DS list today. Now listen to this top 5 in comparison. Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Mario 3D Land, and Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Well, yeah, there you go.
But
here's the thing: on the Vita would have amazing games if it sold units. Like I'm sure we would have probably a Metal Gear Solid, a Grand Theft Auto. Like I'm sure we'd have amazing games on the Vita. But no one's gonna put out a game that they have to spend money on because
I mean, Sony's the one who has to do it. Like you look at Nintendo, like all 5 of those games are Nintendo games, and then like. The rest of the games on the system are we looked at the full 25. It'd be a mixture of third party and first party, but Nintendo brought the 3DS back to life through amazing first party games. Sony isn't doing that. Like they and I can't fucking blame them. They have the
yeah. You gotta think about it. Sony's like, okay, we can either invest $100 million into the Vita and be lucky to get that $100 million back. Or we can invest that $100 million into the PlayStation 4 and probably quadruple that.
The thing is, as a gamer though, I look at a game like Tearaway that's designed specifically for the Vita. It was one of the best games of last year. I kind of like going back and playing Tearaway now. I kind of feel like we shorted that game last year. Real shame too. Or even Killzone Mercenary. Like I play the 2 big games released from Sony.
Killzone Mercenary is freaking good.
Like I play both those games on the Vita, and I'm like, man, these are really fucking great games. Especially Tearaway. Tearaway uses every feature on the Vita in some interesting way, like the camera and the touchscreen and the touchpad, and and I'm like, man, like just son of a bitch. I want more of this, But and at this point, it's basically like, okay, we're going to put PS2 ports on it, but prettier, and indie games. And the indie games are awesome. Like, I almost prefer to play indie games on the Vita just because they seem more natural there. Right? Like, in Velocity X2, I don't want to play that on my PS4. I love playing it on my Vita, though. And then, like, God of War Collection came to Vita, but its frame rate was garbage. Sly Cooper came to Vita, it was alright. Like it's such a vary from port to port. So who knows? I don't know. Anyway, That's it for our questions. I'll refresh the page one last time, but I doubt it. Anthony, any comment on that top 5 for the 3DS before we go?
Well, you read a top 5 for the 3DS?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm really tired right now.
Pokemon. Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Mario 3D Land, A Link Between Worlds.
3D Land, I would probably drop a spot or 2. Fire Emblem, I'll probably put top 3. Link Between Worlds being best 3DS game at the current moment.
The real answer is Theatrhythm.
It's probably not even Theatrhythm, but I just like Link Between. It's a good game, but it just didn't really stand out to me as this is the game for 3DS. I'm like, Fire Emblem stood out to me more. 3D Land probably stood out to me a little bit more. Pokemon's a big deal.
I think you're all wrong.
I think I'll put Mario Kart 7 on top 5 somewhere.
I get why
out of nowhere John returns.
A wild John appears. I think that A Link Between Worlds is an amazing game. Granted, I didn't finish it. My problem with it was I just didn't have just at the time I was looking for work and playing other games, and just it kind of got shuffled to the back of my queue. That said, I like a lot of what they did with it. I like the fact that you can do the dungeons in any order. I like the fact that you have to buy your gear from the repo bird. I liked a lot about that game. It's just it wasn't the game that I wanted to keep playing on my 3DS. I think about my favorite 3DS games, they are Pokemon, they are Theatrhythm, and they are Mario Kart. They are games, and Theatrhythm is crack to me. So, I don't know what it is about rhythm games that just suck me in. I'm not talking like Guitar Hero. Those games were fun, but Guitaru Man, Theatrhythm, Parappa the Rappa, I don't get
Parappa the Rappa.
I don't get why those games are so fucking entertaining to me, but they are. So, I don't know. So, that's all I got.
Cool. Any last comments before we close out the show?
Nope.
And silence. So, doesn't sound like it.
Hey, we're on YouTube, iTunes,
yes,
Facebook,
YouTube,
Twitter.
iTunes. Yes, I know, guys, the Facebook and Twitter for us has not been updated lately. That's my fault. I'm going to be getting back on that. So, so be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. When stuff goes up on the website, I will be sure to post on Twitter and Facebook relatively soon afterwards.
If you're willing to come find me, I'm on Tumblr. For those of you who are adventurous out there. So...
What?
I'm on Tumblr. I have a Tumblr. I was forced to get a Tumblr by a friend of mine, so... You
have a Pinterest, too?
I do not have a Pinterest or Snapchat. No,
Instagram?
No Instagram. I drew the line at Tumblr. I had a Facebook, I got a Twitter for the website, and then a friend got me...
it's just like drugs. Tumblr is the first step, then it's Pinterest, then it's Snapchat, then it's freaking...
I want you guys...
They're all gateway drugs.
I want you to have an intervention if I come to any of you and say I have gotten a Pinterest, a Snapchat, or an Instagram. That's what you need... That's when you need
I'm very good
media.
from abstaining from most of this social networking. I don't have a Twitter, I don't have a Tumblr, I just have a Facebook, a LinkedIn, and that's it.
Well, I do have a LinkedIn, but I never use it. But
at least a LinkedIn is a responsible professional method of social media.
A LinkedIn I use when I'm done.
Or Bronson, you get one of those. I saw a commercial for it the other day. It's the funniest thing. There's so they have Match.com and stuff. They have one, I forgot what it's called, but specifically for cowboys. It's the funniest thing. I saw it freaking advertised on TV. It's for super Southern people to get matched up with their dream cow woman or cow man, whatever. This shit was so funny. Does this thing really exist?
Oh God. Okay.
It started with Christian Mingle, and now there's
sometimes when you turn on I don't go into the deep scary side of the internet at all, and I've watched TV so rarely that the one time I do turn on TV, And see the commercials they have on it, I'm just like shaking my head. I'm like, they actually advertise this stuff on TV. Really? Like you would see, like I saw this one TV commercial that was kind of playing on like this big screen in like the one of the buildings at the college I go to, and it was like saying, "I turned $50 into 50,000." I'm like, "Yep, they're still doing that garbage."
Well, I mean, Giant Bomb made fun of that shit. It's just like, I turned my used software into money. Just like cash for gold and all this other shit. Just like,
And the quality of the commercials are so bad
I'm
too.
like, we live in like 2014, and you're still telling me that you're pumping out this garbage. You're spending way more of your budget on actually getting this TV spot than on the actual equipment used to film this stuff.
Yeah. Or like some of the local car commercial for like car dealerships are funny. I'm like, you guys obviously do not know how to make a commercial, and you did this in house. You probably had like your intern be like, okay, you're gonna hold the camera here. Okay, this guy's gonna go here. Like,
I promise you, I will offer the best quality sale cars to you.
Like,
And they're saying that's in like the most dreadful monotone. I'm like, judging from your tone, you don't really mean it.
or they either have a very bad monotone or they're way too enthusiastic about it. Like to that point where it's like, dude, you kind of scare me a little bit, you know? like
buy a car! Buy a motherfucking car!
We'll finance anybody!
Yeah, so it's like when you guys come up with budgets for commercials, maybe you guys could factor in that, hey, yeah, we're gonna spend tens of thousands of dollars on commercials on TV. Well, we might want to make a good commercial first, because it doesn't matter how many people see it. If the commercial's something they laugh at, it's probably not gonna do anything
I mean,
for
if
you.
it's so bad, it might make you go there just for the
This
commercial.
reminds me of this one meme that went around the internet like 6 or 8 years ago about this furniture store and this big dude just rapping to promote his furniture store.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking. It was hilarious.
That's funny.
I'm sure someone can find it somewhere. It was so yeah.
It's like I'm not saying you need to have Super Bowl quality commercials. Like Super Bowl commercials are freaking awesome.
Actually, if anything, Super Bowl commercials kind of go too far the other way of being so trying too hard to be funny and having such ridiculous budgets that they're just wasting money on something that doesn't have much meaningful impact.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
That's going too far the other way.
Super Bowl commercials is just competition. It's not really to get a result out of it. It's freaking competition for who can. Like, yeah, if you get voted like the best commercial, yeah, you're probably gonna get the advantage of, well, millions of people saw it and now everyone's talking about it. Yeah, but it's like I don't think like some of those spots you pay like $2 million, or it might be like $4 million now for a 30-second commercial. That's crazy. Especially if you advertised during the Super Bowl last year. If you didn't have a Super Bowl commercial within like the first 10-15 minutes of that game, shit. You definitely didn't get your money worth, because people were disappointed with that. Last Super Bowl was garbage. But
yeah, that, you know what? I'm really, after watching Sunday Night Football, the Broncos continued.
Yeah, the Broncos did not impress me at all versus the Colts.
Oh, that first half was amazing. That second half was like, oh dear God.
Yeah, it's just like the Steelers game.
First off, props to our defense, because you guys pretty much had to play the entire second half on your own. So
Peyton Manning, I had never seen him throw passes like he did in the second half. He was so bad in the second half. Like, wide open receiver. Yeah, we're talking too much football. So let's go ahead and conclude the podcast. Like we said, check us out on the various networks, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're on iTunes. Subscribe to us there. Thank you guys for listening. Please leave comments and questions.
Watch Bremen and I dance. That's on the website now. Yeah.
So, comments and questions, we will read them on the next episode. Look out for the spoiler cast of Destiny. We'll be going in depth on the game. Hopefully gaming news will start picking up again soon. With the holidays coming up, gaming news has just been kind of slow. Plus, everything literally revolves around Destiny right now. So, we might not hear anything for another week or two until the Destiny talk goes down a little bit, but hopefully we'll
What are
get
you
some
talking
good
about,
news
man?
out
We got Hyrule Warriors soon and Theater Rhythm. I know those are big hits everyone wants to talk about.
but all right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week. We're out.
Bye. We love you.